No,
No, I say well met when I first meet people. It's oldie timey English. Ah, okay, I've never heard that.
I don't know about
Is
that.
Hoth English or
I
are
don't
you are
know.
you English, Hoth? Are you a pommy cunt? Come on, it's okay. You can admit it.
Spill the beans, bloke. And my dog, he boxes too. It's crazy. He gets up on his he'll box the hell out of you.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
he's a Yankee.
He's a Yank. That's all right. That's even worse.
Yeah, damn Yankee,
Damn Yankees.
Yankee Doodles.
They're stealing all our money. There's none left down here for us.
So this guy,
So where in Australia are you from? I'm from a little shit town called Morayfield. Um, it's pretty tiny. There's probably only like 5,000 people here or something. And it's kind of near Brisbane, which is the capital of Queensland. So that's where I'm from.
but like you said though, like the cities are all pretty grouped together. So
Yeah,
if you
well,
wanted to make it to a bigger town, you could like pretty quickly.
yeah, you got Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane on the east coast. There's quite a bit of distance between them because it's such a big country. But pretty much everyone lives near them, like either north or south of them. And then there's big gaps in between where there's nothing. But yeah, there's some really good places to visit. I'm pretty sure none of you guys will ever come here, but if you do, it's a fucking nice country. Probably not as nice as America because you guys have got a lot more diversity than us. We've just got the beaches, a little bit of like forest, and then desert. So
Some of those coastlines though, I was looking at Kappa. He visited some coast near him, and just the cliffs and the ocean and some of
yeah.
the like the some of it's like untouched still. It seems so like
Oh
virgin,
yeah.
you know.
That is one of the good things about our country. Yeah, the cities are pretty crap, but you get away from them and it is like untouched paradise.
Everything here has been somewhat molested. Like
Yeah, yeah.
even our national parks, you know, we have people coming after them. Like you know, Orange Man wants to
I'm
cut back on our national parks, and if anything, I think we should get more of that for to save and not make it into housing developments.
yeah. Yeah, well the same thing happens here, just probably on a slower scale because we've only got 20 million people, so
Plus, it's just like where you can actually habitate. Like, um,
well, one of our states, Tasmania, you know that little island right down the bottom of Australia? It's just this little triangle.
yeah, it's where the
I don't know
Tasmanian
if you ever
devil
seen it on a
comes
map.
from.
Yeah, yeah, that one.
Yep.
Yeah, that's like one of the most beautiful places in the whole country. And
One of the most
the
secluded.
state government there just decided that they would start deforesting all the like beautiful rainforests and stuff down there. So
Really? What for?
people are pretty pissed off about that. Oh, just for wood, money, whatever.
I like how you said
Doesn't matter, man. Doesn't matter.
just for wood.
Yeah.
That sucks. Well, I mean, I guess you don't have, man. I guess you don't have good. I'm learning so much about Australia, but you don't have trees like good trees. Not a lot of trees. Tree
Yeah,
coverage.
well, around where I live, there's about 100 stretch kilometer on the highway, and there's just like planted pine trees the whole way along,
Oh,
just
okay.
like acres and acres of it.
Pine
So we
trees are
sort of
so
like,
resilient.
yes, we just get all our wood from that, and I guess the better quality timbers we just import from other countries, so we don't have to watch the devastation of our natural, environments.
You'll just make all us, the rest of us, do it.
Yeah, yeah, like Brazil and that and Indonesia, like they're just fucking up their ecosystems at an increasing scale. It's pretty scary,
What
really,
in
for
like
them.
South America and stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, Costa Rica.
And you
Where?
know what? We buy all this wood and we're like, yeah, nothing's wrong with that, you know?
Yeah, I don't
But
understand.
it's fucking up somewhere.
It seems like there's like I've seen like on the internet cheap construction or like cheap way of building houses that are like hurricane proof and like weatherproof. But they're not like made out of wood. We could almost go about making houses out of different materials now. But there's just something about wood. Everybody likes wood, and it's so easy to work with. Like it's not. You could still build a house just as a person building wood, and you can't really do that by yourself like with other materials. It's just, and I love working with wood myself, building things out of it. So,
Yeah, yeah, I get you. But
but
we should probably try to use woods that are like pine trees, that we can replant and
oh
we're not
yeah.
destroying more natural sort of environments.
Well, the thing, and I
I
don't
mean,
know
that's the best way to go.
if you saw the fires that have been happening in California, but what I've heard is a lot of it is actually due to not going in and weeding out a lot of the trees and stuff, and also we prevent forest fires from happening. So how it would occur in the
Yeah,
past is that it would burn and then it would restart. But the way we've actually prevented forest fires and also stopped deforestation in a lot of areas, and apparently like the underbrush and just a lot of like the old, like foliage that has been there forever actually helps in creating bigger forest fires. So there's like
yeah,
a
it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because
mhm.
if you stop all the fires, it's going to be a worse fire when it does happen.
Right, exactly. And it's just that finding that middle ground of how much you can take versus how much you want to plant. But it seems that we're a lot better at that than a lot of places in maybe South America where they don't care as much, or maybe there's not as strict of regulations as far as how they go about taking down trees. Maybe they don't have to plant them back or something. But as far as the amount of rainforest we've actually lost, is it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, that's why a lot of those overseas countries they do just have like no regulations, and that's why it's so cheap to buy wood or even labor or precious minerals or whatever. That's where we get it all from because they don't have the regulations and safety nets that we do over here.
Yeah. And it's like not until the whole world kind of gets on the same page about how we're going to employ people or how we're going to treat our workers. It's impossible to try to like out compete a place like China, right? And then people will
Yeah,
say, well, we need to make businesses want to work here in America. And unless you pay our employees like just like wages that they would have in China, you will never be able to compete with the type of market that they have over there. It's just about having, ethics as a nation and saying, no, we're not going to allow the companies to make this much more over the employers. But
mm,
some people just say, no, it's all about having the business. The more business, the better. And they don't even seem to care about the employer. It's just as long as the economy, as long as the
yeah,
businesses are flourishing, that's all they seem to care about.
yep. Profit over people, man. That's how our world works.
It really is, and it's crazy how many people, as Republicans, buy into this idea of you work, put your nose to the grindstone and work your way up the corporate ladder. This may have been true back in the golden days of America, but anymore, it's just not true that you're going to start at the bottom of a company and then work your way up to CEO because they hire cross companies. They don't hire
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
They don't grab someone that's been working 25 years there. They grab another CEO that just got fired from like Enron or some shit.
Yeah, exactly. It makes me laugh, these libertarian guys, how they're all like, "Oh, the market will work everything out," and all that sort of stuff. And I just think to them, "Yeah, great. So we go libertarian, total ANCAP, free market stuff, and just watch your wages go right down to the level of China's.
Oh,
Yeah, that'll be great."
right. And people arguing against minimum wage here in the states as libertarians, thinking that they're gonna pay you what you're worth. Give me a fucking break. They ain't gonna pay. They're gonna pay you what they have to.
Yeah, just like the Chinese pay them what they're worth, right? They pay them what they're
Yeah,
worth.
and they're really hard workers over there, and you see how much they pay them.
Man, they work way harder than us.
Oh yeah,
Way harder.
oh yeah.
So shouldn't they be richer?
Well,
Shouldn't the common Chinese worker be richer than the average American worker?
by their standards of how the free market will just work itself out, I guess. It seems crazy though. I mean, it's like they never. It's like they didn't. We had a Great Depression in the United States, and it was because it's partly because the free market didn't work.
Yeah.
We actually had to um, we had actually had to pay for like single mothers at one point because single mothers literally couldn't go and get a job right? And also, if their wife or their husband didn't want to pay him anything, then they literally had no means of making money in their society. So there are certain steps we have to take to ensure that everyone can make a wage, but I just don't understand the libertarian. It's basically just saying anarchy will work itself out to me.
Yeah, that always works.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually set up an experiment. These ANCAP types, they wanted to, they got an island or some area or whatever that was like totally off grid sort of thing, and they wanted to set up this experiment where everything was free market, and the whole place fucking was dead. But like a month into the experiment, it just didn't work.
Mhm. Yeah, and then how would we even go about the thing too? When I hear Stefan Molyneux talk about it, this is where I've got a lot of my information on it, just him talking about it. But how would we go about switching from the nation we are now to the nation that he wants? And there is actually some people who talk about this because you can't really give an idea for changing a nation without giving actual steps to doing it. So there are some libertarians who go about actually trying to decipher how you would break up the property, how you would dissolve the government into private institutions. People who actually think that getting rid of all the laws that are basically cemented in place to help us, just getting rid of all those all of a sudden, and then just asking everyone to abide by the NAP or the non-aggression principle, or just everyone just be nice. It's
Yeah, that's never gonna work.
yeah, it's idealistic in the way that
And the whole thing is
communism
that
is.
it is human nature that brought these government regulations and that in the first place.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it. The workers fought for minimum wage, and they fought for equality with women and blacks and stuff like that. You know,
Mm.
they fought for all that stuff because they knew it was the right thing to do. And now these guys want to just like get rid of all those regulations.
Well,
And
yeah,
what do they think is going to happen to the environment? We already treat the environment like shit. So what do they think is going to happen when it's free market? And they reckon, oh, people won't shop with them if they're destroying like rivers and stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah, right. They do it now.
right. Yeah, the idea that if all of us just got mad at a business, then no one would shop there. If everyone's mad at the way Walmart treats everyone, but everyone still shops there because they have cheaper prices than everybody else, you'll never get a society to be moral when there is another option that's easier. Like it's not going to work, and that's why we have to have these things. That's why we can't
Yeah, we
say
have
go
to have bigger
Walmart,
pieces.
go ahead and
Right.
just pay your employees whatever you want. Seems crazy to me, and it seems crazy to me that people would advocate for this type of living where their children grow up.
Yeah, and how are poor people going to afford all their products to be environmentally friendly when they cost like 5, 10 times more? How are they going to afford that? They're not going to. They're going to go for the cheap stuff.
Right, especially people who are just trying to make it and compete with these huge businesses. How do you think they would ever end up competing with someone who's already established? Like,
Yeah,
there's no possible way to compete with Walmart because they've made their prices so cheap in the way that they've pretty much set up their business. And
I bet some libertarians have got an argument against that, but I agree. Like,
against what?
yeah, there's no competition because when you've already got like a monopoly or a near monopoly on a market,
Mm.
how is anyone going to compete with that
Well, yeah,
from nothing?
they bring up the free market, and if people basically they would just categorize it as then it wouldn't be a problem then. Like basically, oh, if they monopolize this industry and everybody wants that, then why is it a problem? But the thing is, I don't think anybody would ever want one company to have a monopoly on everything.
Yeah, that reminds me of you seen that Wall-E movie?
Yeah, I
What's
love
the
Wally
company that runs everything on that? BNP or something?
on the
Yeah, that's
spaceship.
what it's going to turn out like. You know, today's new color is red.
Right, and then look what happened to the Earth on Wally.
What was that?
Oh yeah, and then what happened to the Earth? It was just
Yeah,
they completely
exactly.
destroyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't really have good arguments for pollution and stuff.
I've argued this with them before is when you go to a big chain supermarket or whatever and you buy something, are you really gonna research every single company that was involved in packaging and in America?
They put well they'll put they don't put like dying people, but they'll put like the diseases it can give you on the packaging.
Yeah, we got like photos of lungs that are just like tarred black and stuff like that.
I think they might have done that at one point, but I think they might have pulled back on it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, probably because people complained. I don't want to see that, but I don't think they're going far enough. I want them to put photos of like really obese people being cut open on like McDonald's packaging. Because why not?
You see how that one
Right?
goes
They need to
over.
know what's going to happen if you keep using this product.
Well, I just think it's crazy that anybody would ever think that eating at a fast food place every day, and then complain about like there's literally been lawsuits against McDonald's
Yeah.
because
Oh
people have
yeah.
eaten there every day and then they got obese. It's like, well,
Yeah. You
would you
didn't warn me.
right? Well, what'd you think calories did? It's like, what do they have to teach you? What you learn in school too? McDonald's.
But yeah, even calories only came in what, like 10 years ago or something. I remember when I was a kid, they didn't have like all the nutritional
Yeah,
uh, statistics and all that on the products. They didn't have that.
yeah. Now they have it on the actual menus.
Yeah.
At McDonald's at least.
And I think the more stuff like that they can do, the better. I mean, the more informed people are, the more likely they're going to make a better choice.
Oh, absolutely. I think as far as like calorie intake on, I think that's something that just makes sense. This is this much, especially if you're trying to fit it into any type of diet. Let's say
Yeah.
it's your cheat day or something. You shouldn't have to get on the website in order to find out the nutritional information of something.
Speaking of health, I've got two kids with another one on the way, and
Oh,
honestly, like putting
well,
your kids
congrats again.
into
I think I said
yeah,
that before.
thanks, man.
Hmm.
Yeah, putting your kids into sport, it's expensive.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
quite expensive, and it's all private, obviously. And what I'm thinking is like, why isn't the government, like nationalizing certain sports and stuff like that, like publicly paying for these things for like kids and teenagers and stuff like that, so that like even if it costs $1 billion or whatever, you're gonna save that in the long run from people not dying so much in hospital later on because we've got public health care,
Hmm.
so you got to pay for that. You're gonna save money on public health care if you give people free access to sports and stuff. I mean, there needs to be something done. We've got a bloody obesity crisis, don't we?
Oh, well, especially yeah, in the states, it's insane. I think it's 1 in 4 like children are clinically obese, and childhood diabetes. We didn't have such a thing as early onset diabetes just 50 years ago or something like
No.
that.
Well, even when I was a kid,
Well,
there was
it
only like one or
developed.
two fat kids in the whole school.
Hmm. Well,
Everyone was thin.
well, it's like it's this meshing of like this culture of acceptance, and like trying to give up like these traditional ways of living, but there is some ways that are traditional that aren't based off it just being traditional. It's actually the merits in which it brings each generation, right? So, to care about health, I think, is way more important than to care about whether someone's being fat shamed. Obviously, we should care about that, but there's a whole nother realm of a conversation to be had. Is don't put yourself in danger. Like how can we care more about the feelings of someone who is obese and possibly have diabetes versus our children that could possibly become obese? I
You
just
know what?
don't.
I got some personal experience with that because my ex, my son's mother, she basically doesn't want me to ever talk to him about health and stuff because he's a little bit overweight, not like fat or anything, but I'm starting to worry because he's getting to that age now where he's going to be a teenager. He's not going to listen to me as much. He's going to do whatever he wants. And honestly, his lifestyle habits at the moment are pretty bad. They're
your
pretty
your
unhealthy
kid,
lifestyle habits. Hey?
your kid, or
Yeah, yeah, my
right.
10-year-old. His lifestyle habits are pretty unhealthy. And
It's
I've tried
hard
to
when
talk
they're
to
that
him.
age. Like
Yeah, I've tried to talk to him about like doing exercise and I've done stuff with him. I always do stuff with him. And but I only have him every weekend, so I don't get much time with him. And his mum just like has a go at me every
talking
time
about
I
his
try to
weight.
bring this stuff up. They're like, "Yeah, don't fat shame him." She's actually said that to me before. And I'm like, "No, I'm trying to make sure our son is healthy so that he doesn't fucking die when he's young.
Yeah, and the idea that you're trying to shame your kid as well, I find to be funny. Like
Yeah, I'm not like holding him down going, "Oh, you're a fat bastard. Look at you. You disgust me."
you're trying to
Like,
inform them,
yeah,
basically.
I got to inform him. Like eating McDonald's, yeah, if you eat it too much, you'll get fat. And not exercising, you'll get lazy, you'll get fatter, you'll get unhealthy. It's not good for you, man. You
And
got to
the
keep everything in check.
and the way, I guess, the amount that you have them too, it'd be hard to instill any type of
Yeah,
over the top of her. You know,
yeah, exactly.
that's got to be frustrating.
She totally controls him.
Yeah. Well,
Or the
I
other way around, really. She's such a soft parent, like just does everything for him, which is like a big no-no when you're parenting, obviously. And he's just become, like this self-obsessed and sort of egotistical kid.
it would seem hard to keep on top of like trying to steer like children away from that mindset, especially with the current generation we live in. Just how it is so much about self love, but as much as I'm for self love and for having confidence, there's such a thing as pitting what you think is appropriate against the rest of society, and not always saying um, I'm gonna love myself until I'm in the grave. You know,
Yeah, and that's what she's doing to him. She's giving him that "I'll love you no matter what," which is a good thing to say, obviously. But I mean, like, I will accept anything you do, and I won't try to change anything you want to do. I won't try to help you in any way.
you see
I'll
what?
just let you do whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah, definitely not a recipe for success in my opinion. But that's what like when I grew up, my dad just put me in sports. Like that was that's kind of how I learned to be proactive with health, and basically I think sports is pretty vital. Like you were saying before, it instills a lot of these things instinctually without actually having to teach them. Um,
Yeah,
and
I
it,
was in sport too when I was younger.
yeah, I mean, I couldn't get enough of it. I loved it. So, and the way that it's happening in the States too, the way we're getting rid of a lot of health education, like recess and these things that they say aren't important into a child's upbringing, when they'll teach them other things that I would say are far less important than actually having a solid foundation of your body and mind. You know, we
Yeah,
can't we can't we
swimming
can't
is good, Hoth.
we can't allow like people to um, indulge in any way they want to with their bodies and then try to teach them on top of it. Like we have to instill some sort of like just a way of being
Yeah,
rather than just trying to teach them knowledge, because kids will they learn a lot by watching other rather than listening.
yeah, exactly.
And
And that's what I keep telling her because she's obese. Like,
mm,
honestly, she's quite obese. And I'm saying to her, it's not enough to say to him, like, oh, do some exercise, be healthy and all that. You've got to do it too. Do it with him.
mm.
Make it fun?
And really work
And
like
that's what she's not doing. And I'm always doing that stuff. I'm always jumping on the trampoline with him and everything. I'm not the healthiest guy in the world, but I'm not fat. So
mm.
I can't be doing that much wrong.
And that stuff is fun too. I mean, it's is when I was a kid, it
Yeah.
was a blast to be outside and play anymore. Like I see kids indoors all days, like all hours of the day playing video games, and I'm a huge fan of video games. But I'll be the first one to say, don't play them all day. You know.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I've noticed with Kai that when he plays video games for more than like an hour or two, he just becomes grumpy, sort of depressive, all that sort of stuff. You can just tell straight away. I can tell, oh, you've been playing games for the last few hours, like when I pick him up, because
just
he'll just
has
be depressed.
just has that mood, like he just got done
Yeah,
playing
he's
some
just in a
Halo or some
bad
shit.
mood. And the only times I see him really, really happy is when we're like going out on a bushwalk or jumping on the trampoline or something. That's when they're at their happiest.
What's
And that's when they're at their most confident.
what's crazy is that I actually see that in myself. Like the more I kind of seclude and focus in on um, technology or being absorbed into an internet realm, which is fun, and I don't think anything's wrong with it. But I find myself just becoming just a little bit more upbeat when I'm on a walk with my dog, or like
Yeah.
just doing something that's active. And
And
but that was the way I was raised, though. So
it's tough sometimes because I probably wasn't as sporty as you when I was a kid. I did sport for a while, but after that, like I was big into computers in my teenage years, and yeah, I got a bit sort of like down a lot back then, and it wasn't good for my confidence or anything.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I was like, it was like video games and sports for me, so it was kind of both worlds, like, but
That's what you need, a
oh,
nice healthy balance.
exactly. I couldn't imagine just my entire childhood just being games. Or I'm actually glad I didn't grow up in like the era. I actually grew up in a time where there was an internet, so at least for a short time there, and the type of video games we have weren't as
They
addictive.
weren't as immersive and addictive. Yeah,
Oh, I
they
mean,
actually
today
make
are
games
crazy.
addictive now. It's crazy.
Oh well, if you look at, they actually have gambling in these games. They loot crates and shit. This is
Yeah,
this is gambling, and they don't. That's why the kids they're hooked on it just like an adult would be.
and this comes back to the profit motive running things again. These game companies, they do it on purpose because that's how they know that they're going to get kids to, or people in general, to play it the most.
Right.
They put in these addictive things in their games. It's not even about making a good game that's fun so much anymore. It's more about how can we make people the most addicted to our game so they'll keep playing it.
Well, I would say that's definitely true with apps. Like apps are tailor made to be addicting like a slot machine. I would say
You
like
mean like the game apps?
yeah, like Bejeweled or just the millions of game apps they have out there, right?
I never play them. I hate those games.
Yeah, but I mean, they are basically. I mean, they have like slot machine games on there, so it's basically they already gambling on there. But there is still good games. Like I just got done playing Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. That one was good, but I mean,
Oh yeah.
even with a good game, even when they're not trying to do that, just the technology in and of itself is so awesome. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's anything that's extremely awesome that can, I think, just nothing comes like nothing. You don't get anything scot free in this world. I think, and everything's always going to come with some sort of baggage. And to think that you
Yeah.
could just enjoy something that's awesome 24 hours straight, uh, you know, 365, I think is just
There's no such
it's a
thing.
little naive.
Yeah. Hoss said, play Pokemon Go. You can take a walk and play a game at the same time. And
Yeah.
yeah, I reckon game companies should be trying to make more games like that. Because I've never seen so many fat kids walking around with their phones, you know?
Yeah.
It's good for them. Like incorporate, and just like the Wii Fit, and I think that was an Xbox One. What was it called?
It was
They had like a
on the
camera or
Wii.
whatever, and
Oh,
you had
the
to do like
Connect.
exercise. Yeah, and you had to do like exercise to make your character move and stuff. Like they're really good ideas.
Hmm.
And honestly, it's more fun playing games like that. It's a pity that they didn't like do it more. They didn't branch more games into it and stuff.
Well, they got
Because you
the
could
VR
have a
stuff
fun
now.
game. You could Kids would play it if they made an addictive game where there was some sort of physical activity involved that you had to do to play the game. I'm sure there'd be loads of kids that would play that stuff.
Oh yeah, but at that point, I kind of start to look at it when you're playing like a realistic. Let's say you have the whatever the eye things are on like virtual reality. At that point, when
Yeah.
you're throwing a football in virtual reality, why not just go outside and throw the
Yeah,
football?
that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
It just seems
And then,
like kids want to put themselves in the big Super Bowl game instead of just. It's almost like instant gratification. You don't want to be on the football team. You just want to be the winning quarterback in a game real quick or something.
yeah, it's minimum effort, maximum result.
Yeah, augmented reality is, I guess.
Yeah,
And
there is definitely some worries about, yeah, the augmented reality stuff. I
but
mean, you could be like the Matrix, you just like someone just sitting there all day.
right. Well, yeah, that and with the people with video game culture and stuff, people are so enthusiastic about it that if you start to say anything negative about video games, even if you say you're a big fan, you love them, you know, even if you say just don't play them all day, you're still gonna have a big group of people out there who even come up against that. Or like with the
Yeah.
recent one with the Amazing Atheist and porn, I was like, yeah, porn's not bad, but if you choose a relationship, if you choose porn over a relationship, then something bad has happened.
Yeah, then then something's wrong, man. Something's wrong with that.
But the Amazing Atheist was like, I don't, some people just don't do good in relationships. I was like, maybe because they're watching too much porn.
Yeah. I
But yeah,
mean, yeah, it's a balance again. Like, yeah, you don't have to go around and say ban all porn or whatever. But like for some people it might be unhealthy, just like anything else, just like shopping or anything.
yeah, people don't like to talk smack about what they like, you know.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. I've always been talking smack about myself.
Yeah, me too. It seems more like also just a more honest way of being, like to be able to see things that could possibly be a negative influence in your life, even if you choose not to live correctly. At least to be able to point out what is positive living versus completely vapid negative living. You should be able to see the difference between these things at least. But people are just like, I don't see anything wrong with being on the internet 24/7 and jerking my wanker all day.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, have fun with that. I'm gonna have fun, with an actual girl.
Yeah, and it seems a lot of people are going into this like group identity thing. And I think a lot of that is because yeah, the internet's disconnecting us and it's got a bit to do with alienation in the workforce. I mean, people aren't connected to what they're doing anymore. They don't feel a part of society. I mean, obviously that's not everybody, but if you're working like behind a computer just typing in numbers all day, you're not going to feel like you're bringing any worth into this world. You're not helping anybody, you know?
Yeah, and then people say you're supposed to get a meaning out of your work. It's like, well,
How?
most Americans they do jobs because they have to, not because they want to, and it's a very few that actually get to do what they want. So I just this
Yeah, and they wonder why people are all going into these groups now, like, and just defending their group no matter what. Like, I'm a feminist and I'm gonna fucking hate anyone that says anything against feminism, or like, I'm a men's right activist and all females are shit. Like they all get into these groups and they just circle jerk each other.
so the women circle jerk each other too.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, they circle finger each other, I guess.
yeah. No, I completely agree. It's people they find their unit and
Yeah,
then
they're,
they
they're
they
trying to find a
defend
bit
it.
of meaning.
Yeah, which should come in their everyday lives. Instead, we're forced into these repetitive ways of being, and that almost it seems to come out on the internet. Like it
Yeah,
just
in hate towards each
yes,
other.
because everyone hates their job and what they're doing, so they're gonna go hate on everybody else. Which
Yeah, I mean, I'm self-employed, but I don't exactly love what I'm doing.
right,
How do you feel about your job?
I would pick something else if I had a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going to the job with like a smile on your face every day going, "This is a great. I'm helping."
No, never have. But my dad always told me I should. You should enjoy your work.
Well,
Whatever you do, you should do it your
isn't that
best.
just faking it? Isn't that faking it though? Like that's that whole like positive fucking thinking shit that I hate. Isn't that all just faking it? Shouldn't you be honest about everything?
Yes, I do. I think there's like an interplay. Like you should not go to work hating it every day, but you shouldn't also pretend like that's where you get all your joy in life, the way conservatives would want you to. Oh, you have a job. You're one of the lucky ones because you have a minimum wage job in America. How lucky you are. How fulfilling is that really? And how many
Yeah.
people are actually fulfilled by what they're doing every day? And and it's funny that you say that about people being connected to their work because I completely agree. And back in the day, when things were actually getting off the ground and things during the Industrial Revolution, when new types of things were happening in America and our economy was actually being built, people actually felt like they had a part in these systems. Or back in
Yeah.
the back in the
Well, they
day,
were helping building their nation for the betterment of everybody. I
yeah,
mean, that's a great feeling.
yeah, and a lot of the bottom employers back in the day are now CEOs, but you don't make that same trek anymore. If you're going to become a CEO, it's going to be by creating your own business, not by working your way up the
Yeah,
corporate ladder.
or a ton of ass kissing and being really lucky.
Right,
And
that
I
too.
hate that ass kissing stuff, man. Like you just have to suck up to your boss no matter what because you want that promotion.
Oh, I hate that shit a lot. Yeah, and especially the way you have to be like with your other coworkers and stuff, like the interplay of who can kiss more ass. I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
good. I'm not gonna kiss any.
I've been lucky in that regard because the workplace I worked in was pretty bogan, and everybody just sort of like made jokes and insulted each other, and it was pretty fun actually. We weren't all like that. What do you call it? The workplace politics. There was
Yeah.
none of that going on. Or there was a little bit, but the guys that did that, we made fun of them all the time, and that was good.
Yeah, you're lucky if you don't find like that really um, competitive workplace nowadays. Like anywhere you go, now it
Yeah,
seems it's incredibly competitive just to get that raise, and it's like a 25-cent raise at that.
yeah, that was the best job I'd ever had working there. It was just a great place to work. It was so chilled. And everybody still did their work. Huh, fancy that.
Man,
They think like, oh, if they're having a bit of fun, no, you're not working hard enough. No, it
I
actually made everybody want to work.
yeah, I worked at a place like that, a cabinet shop, and it was in the paint room, and our boss was just the biggest asshole. I was in the stain booth, and he would play 94.5, which is a rock and roll station up here, just every
Oh yeah.
day, and just blare it right next to my ear. And
Oh God.
he would never let me pick a station. He would never let anybody in the paint room pick the music, and he wasn't even in the paint room half the time. He would put the music on and then leave. And it's
Did
just
you
that.
guys just change it anyway? I wouldn't have put up with that shit, eh?
Well, I did a couple times, but then he just changes it back and then puts me on some duty I don't like. So,
Oh, what a bastard.
well, and that's what it was like. And like I've worked like labor, pretty much my whole life doing like construction work and that type of stuff, and just the environments you find yourself in, the competitive nature, just to be like to get out of framing so you can be do plaster or work inside doing construction. Just how competitive people were just in those environments. I can't imagine when you climb up the corporate ladder. There's a reason why CEOs are more psychopathic than everyone else.
Yeah,
Is because
exactly.
they have no qualms about laying off 1,200 people who depended on that job.
Because they would literally do anything to win.
Right. So who do we get? Who do we get being our richest people? It's the most. It's a lot of the times it is the most ruthless people.
Yeah.
But people just go, "Oh, you're just jealous." If
Yeah, you're always just jealous. Yeah, that's it.
yeah. I can't stand it the way especially in America, like the Republicans, how they vote against their own interests. It just seems so stupid.
Well, they don't know. They don't know their own interests. They've been brainwashed. I see in America, it just seems to be so much worse than over here.
Oh, it is, yeah.
I mean, like you guys have got like everything you do. There's like a big flag behind it, and everybody's like America. Like it's
USA,
fucking.
USA.
Yeah. I can't. I've never heard Australians going Australia, Australia. We don't do that shit.
And what's crazy is you can get us to do it anywhere. Like just start it anywhere. You're gonna get some people who start doing it with you.
Like the level of brainwashing in your country, it's just crazy.
Well, it's like this. It's like this fake patriotism. It's if you wear
Yeah, don't kneel.
yeah, if you wear a bunch of flag shit, then you're a patriot.
Yeah. The only time Aussies wear that flag stuff is on Australia Day.
You have an Australia Day?
Yeah, we have an Australia Day. It's in January 26th or something like that. I can't even remember. I don't really care about it. But there's this big stink because you know how you guys just had a Columbus Day, didn't you? Was that recent?
Maybe, yeah.
You don't know?
Yeah, those ones I just go right past my radar.
Yeah, yeah, they don't really matter. But Australia Day is a pretty big deal here. But you guys had the people saying it shouldn't be called Columbus Day anymore. We shouldn't celebrate it because of all the genocide and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. You have social justice warriors attacking every single um, thing that
Holiday.
happened in the
If
past.
someone involved did something bad ever, then we shouldn't celebrate that holiday at all anymore.
Might as well get
It's
rid of the
just crazy.
Constitution because those people who wrote that, a lot of them were really racist. So
Might as well just erase all history then. Just
yeah,
start off again.
I mean
Like that's gonna work.
every single knowledge that was ever extracted from the past, we've ignored like the racist bits and stuff. So if you ever wanted any like, and even philosophy, you get women hate and all this type of shit. So if we were to forego all knowledge because at some point it had some sort of bad things in it, then
Yeah.
we would have no knowledge whatsoever. And it's about and then someone might say in that regard, well, what about the Bible? It's like, well, some of it has to be good. It can't all be trash. So like when we look at Aristotle and Plato and Greek thought, there's it's basically where the Enlightenment came from. And if we were to ignore these people because let's say, Aristotle didn't think women were the same as men or something,
Yeah.
then we would be literally giving up where all of our liberal values came from.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
thing,
we have the same thing here in Australia about Australia Day. There's been people jumping up and down, these SJW types. They've been saying, "Oh, we shouldn't be celebrating this day because we murdered all those indigenous people like 250 years ago."
oh,
I
it's
mean, nobody's running around saying, "Yeah, we killed all the fucking Aboriginals." No one's doing that.
well,
So who cares?
that's why we celebrate Columbus Day too, is to celebrate all the people he killed. And we were like, yeah, Columbus, dude, thanks for doing that stuff. It's like, no, it's like we're
Yeah.
celebrating the founding of America. Even if I don't even think that's the case though. He landed in South
He landed in
America.
Haiti, didn't he? Haiti or
Yeah, it
Jamaica
wasn't in
or
America.
something.
It was somewhere in South America, and then he worked his way up to America. But yeah, the whole Columbus thing is crazy. But yeah, how they're going after statues, they're going after anybody,
Oh, fucking-
any of our forefathers. They hate because of what they did. But you guys in
you
Australia
might as
seem
well
to
just
have it
you might
bad.
as well just get rid of all art and history then, because almost everybody has done something bad.
Yeah. Well,
So just get rid of it all.
Well, I mean, we just recently stopped being like racist, you know, whenever we did. So anything you get before that is like anything before we gained all these new values is going to have some of that stuff in it, unless someone was a completely Renaissance person who was way before their time. And I don't think there is anybody who is speaking of human rights in specifically the way we are today. And that's why I
Hmm.
find it funny that when people talk about the Bible it, like implementing some of these values, it's like, what are you talking about? Like that's like
Yeah, the
old
values
Jewish
have
law.
changed over time anyway.
Yeah,
It had nothing to do with the Bible. If anything, the Bible was always trying to stop change. It was like no to women, no to gays, no to black people. It was always fighting change.
that's why I find
And
it
now they want us to believe that that's the moral foundations of our culture. Fuck off.
right. And well, even just the separation of church and state, I'm like, well, what about that? Like that is obviously separating the church and its code from the code of the people, and then yet they still say no, it's the code of the people. In what
Hmm.
way are we like besides the people in America being Christian? How are we like a Christian nation like Jordan Peterson would state? I just don't see it other than the people who are in it. But as far as the laws and our system, it's not Christian.
No, because there's loads of different Christian countries with different laws
Yeah. Well, and the
and
Christian
different
law
cultures. They have different cultures and laws. So if Christianity is like one massive entity, then why is it different all throughout the world?
and all the different sects of Christianity, like which
Yeah.
section of Christianity are we supposed to listen to?
Only the good stuff. It's like God, only the good stuff.
Yeah.
And then all the bad stuff, it's like Satan?
Yeah.
What did Hoth say here? What do you think of Walk Away?
What is that?
Do you know about that? What is Walk Away?
Maybe that is something to do with Me Too.
I don't know. Let me have a look. Walk Away. Yeah.
Who's Jeff Bezos?
I've heard of him.
Oh, he was. This is when we were talking about the CEOs and stuff. American
Yeah.
technology entrepreneur, investor, and philanthropist. You
All
know,
right, I'll read this. Sorry, go on.
no, you go ahead.
I was going to read about. I just found something about walk away, so I'll read it out to you. Okay.
Okay.
On the pro-Trump internet last weekend, the walk away hashtag was the nexus of an exciting idea that millions of Americans are walking away from the Democratic Party, as one pro-Trump account put it. Breitbart said that the hashtag had gone viral. The Epoch Times said it represented a growing movement of Democrats, particularly minority Democrats, abandoning their party and liberalism. Walk Away the hashtag went viral this weekend as something of a delayed reaction to a popular video renouncing liberalism by Brandon Stracker, don't know who that is, who described himself to the Epoch Times as a New York hairdresser and aspiring actor. The video, posted in late May, now has more than 1 million views on Facebook. In it, the Stracker says he was once a liberal, but now he is not. So I'm guessing just by that first couple of paragraphs, it's just like a basically Trump supporters saying, "Oh, we're not gonna," or former Democrat supporters maybe going, "We're gonna be like Trump now."
Yeah,
So
it's the left walking away from the left. But I mean,
yeah, Hoth
it
just said it's Democrats becoming Republicans for some reason. So what do I think of it? I think probably a lot of people in that usually voted Democratic Party, I think they now have become disenfranchised with it. Probably a lot to do with Bernie Sanders getting kicked out. The fact that Hillary Clinton was a fucking joke. I mean, where are they going to turn? Where do they go now? So yeah, they probably are walking away from the Democrats.
Yeah, who in the Democratic Party speaks rationally? I can't even. I don't find people really in the Republican Party that do it either. But it's the party that I'm on. So and I don't see any Democrats. Bernie, uh, whatever the one chick, Hillary, none of them.
Yeah, what was her name? Cortez?
Oh, that
Was that
yeah,
it?
that chick. She's like the social democrat.
Yeah.
And that's what the Democratic Party has to offer up is talks of socialism and it's basically even though anybody who got into office would never be able to make these drastic changes and the changes that they did make would probably be for the better of America. If you speak in terms of trying to socialize everything, you're always going to fail in America, at least, because there is this aspect of working hard to find your own place in the
Yeah.
U.S. and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's never gonna work. It's never gonna work in America. Maybe in like a Scandinavian country or something like that, where it's already kind of working. Yeah.
Yeah, but
But
that's
in
why.
America, you got no chance. I mean, even if you start like trying to put in public healthcare, like all the other industrialized nations already have, you probably would have riots on your hand.
That's why I thought the extension of Obamacare and kind of the Obama administration policies was a really good idea with Hillary. Although I hate Hillary, I hate pretty much everything about her. I don't think she should have ran. But as far as the options that were on the table, I think the extending Barack Obama era policy would have been the best route forward instead of just literally just taking an executive order and getting rid of everything that was done over the last 8 years. And
So
I
what was Obama? What was Obamacare? Because I don't know much about it because I'm not American.
it was a way of giving private government insurance instead of just privatized insurance. So it was giving people who couldn't get health care, getting them to be able to have health care finally. But
So
it
do
wasn't
they still have to pay the insurance?
if you meet if you're under a certain how much you make, then you get it for free. So the people who are couldn't afford healthcare got healthcare, and the people
So
who
it was the start of public
yeah,
healthcare
yeah,
basically.
but there's still private options for people who want to go and get their own insurance. They can still do that. So it's not a completely single payer healthcare system where there is no other options besides the government healthcare. We still had we still had an option. You could go get your own healthcare if you wanted, but people were still, if they couldn't afford it, were going to be able to have healthcare.
And
And it
that's a great move. I mean, that's what we have here in Australia. We don't just have like everybody has public health. You can get private healthcare over here. If you want, you can have the private healthcare.
Well, it's just the way the Republicans go about demonizing and using false facts to make Americans think that voting for companies is in their best interest. I mean, because that's what Trump did. He basically took everything and put it in back in the hands of big business. And then
Yeah.
people, if you can convince people that allowing big business to flourish and trickle down economics,
Yeah, I was gonna say that trickle down. Yeah.
it's just it's a ruse. It is not it does not happen where wealth will stay at the top and it will be distributed through the top to people they want to. And just because a company has a bunch of money where they could afford to give you more, unless they're forced to, they won't. And this is what I think everyone in America needs to get behind is that businesses do not care about you. Even Nike, how they made the move to endorse Kaepernick, they don't give a fuck about Kaepernick. They don't give a fuck about black people. Nike sells to black people. They sell shoes to black people. They don't care about their well-being. They care about their
Yeah.
profit margin.
I love it how Trump ran on like "Make America Great Again" or "Make America Number One" or whatever.
Mm.
Like he was saying the Democrats, like they were just letting all these other countries walk all over us. You know, our companies they went overseas. They took all your jobs, and now China's got them all. But the thing is, that is profit at work. That is those companies choosing to go overseas so that they can earn more money. They don't want to pay Americans like $20 an hour or whatever.
Yeah,
Why would they?
and the idea that
They
you could compete with China is also ain't gonna happen.
So, and then he's like, "Oh, if we just give big business like more tax cuts and more money and all that sort of shit, then you'll get more money. Don't worry, workers." No, no. If it's still gonna save them money, they'll still go overseas to get their labor. They're
What
not gonna fucking employ you.
what I thought was funny too is that T-Mobile, after Trump gave these businesses huge tax cuts, um, and it gave tax cuts to Americans too, but they only lasted for 4 years, where the tax cuts for businesses are indefinite. So I,
Oh, that's weird.
apparently people don't care about
It's
that.
almost like he just wants, to last till his next election, and then he'll be right after that.
Yeah, I mean, all of it's working towards the next election. It always is. Even the next day after someone's elected, they're back on the campaign trail.
I've heard Trump's doing that a bit more than any other president has before, running around like it's his campaign trail still.
Yeah, well, he's the only one that's ever talked about getting rid of terms and just being president forever. He said that once.
Did he say that?
Yeah, and then these things that he say, they'll just, oh, he's joking. He's joking,
Or they'll be like, "He's Hitler.
right?
He's coming for you."
Yeah. And then if you try to say anything bad about Trump, then the Republicans will just classify you as some crazy leftist lunatic.
Yeah. Reels before feels, you libtard.
Yeah, facts over feels, dumbo.
Ugh. So has anybody got any questions? Come on, let's get something new.
Yeah, I don't think. But yeah, basically the walk away thing is just because culturally things are shifting to where people align more with the right based on free speech, and that's where a lot of it. But the policies still remain with the people on the left. So it's but the culturally, the right's winning as far as how they are talking about free speech and SJWs, because everybody,
Yeah.
if you go look at
Yep.
some of the videos, I saw one today on NBC where they're talking about the myths of race and stuff, and it got disliked into oblivion. Like, when is
Yeah.
NBC and MSNBC going to understand that they're fighting a losing battle?
Yeah, it's these like liberal SJWs, like you said, because these new shows are trying to keep their ratings up, and they realize that all these crybabies are starting to try to shut them down every time they say anything slightly racist or anything. It's made everything soft, and it's made people annoyed because they can't be honest anymore. They can't say what they think, otherwise they're just like shouted at about being a racist, you know? And I think that's why a lot of people have run to the right. It's not because like they love big business or anything like that. It's because they're sick of what they think the left is all about now.
I think that's exactly right too. And people don't have the foresight to think into the future about their about their finances and the actual policies that are going to affect them into the future. They are very um, emotional as far as people don't like to be called racist. They don't like to be called bad people when they're trying to just live their lives. So as long as the left goes about demonizing the majority of the population, they will always lose. It's crazy to think that they think that they're gonna guilt white people into submission or something.
Yeah, yeah, right. I haven't seen anybody submit to them, so I don't know what fucking chance they've
Well, you
got.
got all the freaking SJW white guilt people who, they'll just. I mean, I've had people, I've seen them on channels where, like, their black friends will, like, pretty much ridicule them and say, you're racist, right? And they'll be like, yes. Like, there's this guy called Black Hitler. I think everybody knows about Black Hitler, I think. But this guy, the way he treats his friends is crazy.
I haven't heard about him. Is he on Twitter, did you say?
He's on YouTube, but basically,
Oh,
like
YouTube.
he has his white friends out in front of him, and he like ridicules them and like pretty much demonizes them, and they all just agree.
So he's a racist.
Yes, he's very much a racist, but black people
I
can't
love
be
I love how
racist.
black people can't be racist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's you see because it's power plus prejudice,
that's right.
which is retarded. It's a they actually teach this stuff in our schools as fact in humanists in the humanitarian class, humanitarians, something like that. The
Yeah,
humanities.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah, humanities. Yeah.
yeah. They actually teach this stuff. I went to a women's studies class like 5 years ago or something,
Oh, why did you do that?
because it's mandatory for a degree, which is crazy.
Okay,
Which is
that's mandatory, is it? Women's studies. What were you studying?
well, they make a humanities class mandatory, and I was studying uh, computer graphics. So I don't know why.
How does that have to do with it?
Well, that's the thing. They make these race and women's studies mandatory as part of your education now. So you don't go into the workforce being racist, but it's had this opposite effect where they're creating these soft, malleable people, and they go out to the workforce and then they scream that not everything's going
Yeah,
their way.
yeah. I didn't get that promotion. It must be because I'm a woman.
Yeah, yeah. Place in X for some reason they think society has wronged them. We live in a victim culture in the wrong way. They're looking at it. We live in a victim culture as far as class status goes. Like if you want to look at yourself as a victim as far as the elites, then go ahead. But they're looking at it as far as characteristics about their identity that they feel victimized, and
Yeah.
not where they line up on class. They'll see a poor white guy and a poor black guy will argue all day, even though they have the most in common.
Yeah, the poor white guy still has privilege somehow, even though he's fucking eating shit out of bins.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's got heaps of privilege.
yeah, it's crazy to me that, and it just seems like it's just getting worse and worse.
Yeah, I don't know. Where's it going to lead though? What do you think?
Trump being
What's going to
reelected,
happen? Yeah, or something worse, you know?
something worse. Yeah, I mean there's been lots of. I mean, just look at some of the ways. Just look at Charlottesville, and then we had Antifa basically shows up everywhere now in the United States wherever a protest is going on.
I've seen them hound these fucking Republicans out of restaurants and stuff.
Yeah,
No wonder people hate them. I mean, you can disagree with someone about their policies or whatever, but you're like hounding a family. How much of an asshole would you have to be?
yeah.
I study female anatomy. Does that count as women's studies?
Can you find the
Is that a
clitoris?
joke?
If you can find the clitoris, then you've passed the class.
Yeah, you've already passed.
Good job. You're ready for business school now, or you're ready for the work world.
But you're never allowed to touch another one without a written consent form.
And I get so like my I don't know where to stand a lot of the times because people are being disingenuous both ways. Like with the whole
Yeah,
and as far as women being online, they gather a bunch more harassment than men do. And I don't if you can't just see that as like an obvious thing, I mean, if you just look at women when they go to parties and how men just gather around them and they,
Yeah,
so why do you think the same thing wouldn't happen on the internet? It does. And then people want to deny these facts that women actually have to deal with more of this sexual behavior online. But then some women will take it
of
just
course they
be
do.
some women will take it just beyond that, and they'll say, "Oh, I get death threats all the time. I get this," when they don't realize everybody gets that type of treatment. You may specifically get more sexualized behavior, but everyone is getting like harassed.
Yeah. I think
So
people
where do I
just need
stand,
I think
Joe?
people just need to like be confident in themselves and toughen up a bit, not give a shit about other people's opinions. And I think part of the problem with that mentality that just seems to be like becoming more pervasive in our culture, I think I've seen it with my sister on Twitter and all her friends. They're so like backslapping each other all the time about how wonderful and beautiful and amazing each other are. There's no like there's no honesty anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I see it in socializing in the real world as well. I mean, everybody's just trying to, I don't know, like just be fake nice all the time,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what. And I find it hard to like speak out sometimes because every time I seem to say something, like it just makes shit worse because they just go off or something.
Yeah, and apologies have gone out the window. If you ever think you can try to reason with like one of these SJWs who's already mad, it's a losing battle because they've already found something. They've already deemed you unworthy in some way because of one view or the other. And it doesn't take a lot anymore for people on the left or people on the right to just completely write people off in general on one video they've seen, right? Like a lot of people will I've seen so many people be like, "Oh, you weren't who I thought you were because I made a video defending women because Stefan Molyneux is saying outrageous shit about them, right?" And then
Oh, I saw those videos. They were terrible, weren't they?
so they call me some sort of like feminist, right? But then I've been called a fascist. Like I get the whole spectrum because if you do videos, people just automatically assume, oh, this guy's one of the alt right guys, or this guy's an SJW
Yeah,
guy.
what box can we put him in?
Exactly.
I want to put him in that box, and then I can hate him forever, no matter what.
Yeah, but like with my video like set, I think it's hard. It's harder if you've seen all of them to put me in a box. But with a lot of other people, it's hard to even get a following on YouTube unless you kind of stay on one subject.
Yeah,
Which I think I'm gonna start some like new channels where I do more like one subject instead of going after both sides type of thing.
like you'll start like a conservative channel and a liberal channel.
That's what I'm thinking, dude. Like, so have like one liberal, one conservative kind of thing.
Yeah, oh, that'd be good. Hey, I'll be right back, man. Okay?
Sure. Yeah, Hoth Rebel. Yeah, I'm a liberal and strongly dislike SJWs and Antifa because they give us a bad rap. Yeah, they do. Liberal never meant progressive. So somehow liberal and progressive have become synonymous with one another, and they're just not. You could be a liberal and still be for free speech. Be a free speech absolutist. Do a Star Wars channel. I don't like Star Wars. Maybe I've thought about like a movie channel, doing like I don't know, top 5 best horror scenes, or I've kind of wanted to do a top 5 best fight scenes, and even more specific than that, top 5 stairwell fight scenes. I'm a big fan of like kung fu movies and mixed martial arts. So if I was gonna do a separate channel, it would probably be a movie channel, mixed martial arts channel. Uh, yeah, probably those two. And if he gets back, tell him I got some water. Sorry, guys. Dead air here for a second. But if anybody has any questions, 7 people that are watching, me and Alienation will be glad to answer them. If you have any, go ahead and leave them in that comments section, and I'll be back in 1 minute.
All right, I'm back.
All
What are
right,
you guys
I'm
doing?
gonna run and get some water real quick. So I'll be like 2 seconds.
All right. Do movie stuff, as in like watch YouTube videos, because we couldn't figure it out before. So, but maybe we'll set something up. Hey man, how are ya? Do you think I sound Aussie enough? Hang on. Do a Star Wars channel, I'd watch that. Oh, that's an old one, isn't it? Yeah, Cogent thinks I don't sound that Aussie, but maybe he's heard some bogans, so they tend to be a lot more I guess like how Southerners sound more American than West Coast types. Is anyone else in the chat? 7 people. What's going on, everyone? Ah, yeah. I'm the one who needs ideas. I haven't even started my channel yet. I find it hard to make the time to do YouTube videos between work and my family, you know. I mean, the only reason I'm on tonight is because my girlfriend's at work, so get a bit of peace and quiet. Yeah, just me and you, Hoth. What are you up to, man? Obviously watching this, but what else you been doing?
All right, sorry to leave you hanging there.
That's all right. Oh man, we had all these cane toads all over my backyard. You guys got them?
What turds?
Cane toads? You ever heard of them?
Kangaroo turds?
No, kangaroo toads. No, like cane fields.
Mm. Sugar cane?
Yeah,
We no.
yeah. The funny thing about them, they're ugly little things, and they squirt poison if you like step on them or poke them with a stick or anything.
Really?
Yeah. But the funny thing about them was they're not a native Australian species. What happened was like 150 years ago or something. I don't know the exact year, but they had a serious problem with cane beetles, and they were these like little beetles that would just devastate crops here in
Hmm.
Australia. So they knew that the cane toads would eat these beetles, so they started importing them over here from England or wherever. And and then after a while, they realized that the beetles are active like during the day, and the cane toads are active during the night. So they never ended up eating any of them.
Oh,
And then
so
now
you
we've
just
got
had a
this like
bunch of damn.
huge now we've got this huge infestation of cane toads throughout the country with like an uncontrolled population growth, and they're just like killing off all these native species and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy when we try to fix Mother
Yeah,
Nature
don't
with
mess with
other.
nature. Don't
Yeah, like
mess with it.
try to like rearrange it around. Be like, no, you messed this up. We got this, and
Yeah,
yeah, it
we
doesn't
know
usually
better
work.
than, millions of years of evolution. We know better than that.
Yeah. Uh, it's freaking and rats too, right? I mean, you guys got a huge rat problem over there, right?
I don't know, man. Not where I live.
I swear,
Maybe somewhere they
I saw
do.
this documentary in Australia where this guy lifted up this board, and there was just tons of rats underneath.
I'm
Um,
guessing more in the country
yeah, it
because
was
you have like
definitely.
the grain silos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you probably would get a ton of rats out there.
Who the hell lives in the middle of Australia? Serial killers, right?
Yeah, like that movie. What was it called? Wolf Creek.
Wolf Creek,
Yeah,
that was a good one.
those kind of guys. Oh man, the country people are so weird, but you'd probably be used to that
Do
in
you
America.
guys?
You got the same thing. They just like total fucking backwards hicks.
Oh yeah, definitely. You get those everywhere. Um,
I haven't been out to the country though. Like not in the middle of Australia. I've always stuck to the coastlines. There's nothing out there. Why would you go out there?
just to try to get bitten by some poisonous snake. I don't
Yeah, we got poisonous snakes here, so I don't need to
know.
travel for that.
Yeah, you gotta. Man, you guys got the most uh, dangerous animals and like most poisonous stuff over there.
Yeah,
Just because all that evolution happens separate from everything else, it's just like this weird. You got crazy poisonous stuff.
yeah, yeah. Here we go.
Anybody?
We got. I just looked up 10 of the most dangerous animals in Australia in one terrifying list. We've got a box jellyfish, the honeybee,
The honeybee.
the yeah, I don't know. Apparently that's a deadly animal. I don't know what that's
What?
about. The irukandji jellyfish, they're really bad. I've heard that if you get stung by a couple of them, you're dead. The bull shark, eastern brown snake, yeah, they're pretty bad. Saltwater crocodile, obviously.
Well,
Man, they can reach
I know you have.
4.5 meters.
Damn,
Oh, shit. Sydney funnel web spider and the blue ringed octopus.
that's like
That's only
18
eight.
feet.
Oh,
Wait,
in feet, 13.5 feet. Sorry, I
oh,
forgot you guys do feet.
damn, I was way off.
You guys are so backwards. Yeah, let's
I know,
let's
man.
use feet, and it's like
We're still
it's like
using the
12
standard
point something
system.
inches.
Yeah,
And
no,
it's like no, it's so easy just to be like 100 centimeters in a meter. That's so fucking easy.
what's weird too is that our teachers, at least my teachers growing up, used to say the same thing. Like, this is really stupid. Like, we're not on what the rest of the world is on, but this is what we got to teach you, type of thing. But yeah, I
I
mean,
think isn't it only
basically
your
everyone uses
country
the
and like
metric
one
system.
other small African nation or something that still does it?
Yeah, yeah, I don't, and you're right. It's hard. It's harder to multiply. It's harder to like to understand it unless you do understand it. But it's way
Like,
more
would you know how
complicated.
many feet? Would you know how many feet there are in a yard
There's
or
like
something like
three something, like three and
there's
something
something you don't
feet in
even
it.
know. See, that's how dumb it is. You live
Exactly.
there and you don't know.
Right. Exactly. Conversion is hard with the standard system too. It'd be way easier just to do everything by tens or by whole numbers. But we're dumb. We're dumb Americans.
Yeah. I'm surprised you haven't got your own American calendar. Fuck all the other countries. There's only
Uh,
10 months in the year.
no, the most patriotic thing I do is used to go to baseball games and watch the fireworks on the 4th of July. That's pretty damn American.
That does sound pretty American.
And
I'm surprised. Do
you know what
people like
song
shoot
they
their
play?
guns up in the air like that guy in The
No,
Simpsons?
you can't do that. But and then the song they play is "Proud to be an American, 'cause at least I know I'm free."
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a
That is
song.
cringeworthy.
Oh man, it's the best. It gets
Oh,
my patriotic heart just all up
yeah.
in a warm place.
You got your little American condoms to put on that fucking hard on you're getting?
Oh yeah, yeah. I got my American brand condoms. Patriotic boner. Do we get any more questions, or no one wants to ask us questions? See, it's like there'll
Who
be like
who is
7 people in,
okay?
but then
He
it'll
asked
just
if
only be.
yeah, Hoth, thank you for being the only person who can be fucking bothered to ask us anything. Is the platypus from
Whoa, alien!
Australia?
I didn't mean that, guys. That was him.
Yeah, fuck all you guys. Nah. Is the platypus from Australia? Yes, it is. And a
What?
funny fact about
It's here in
what?
America too, isn't it?
What? Do you
That's
have
in
the
the
platypus?
South, man. Yeah, I believe so.
Well, when they first got to Australia, it
Maybe
was
I'm
an
dead wrong.
undiscovered. It was an undiscovered animal, and when you know what a platypus looks like, don't you?
Yeah, it's all weird looking.
It's
It
all
can't.
yeah.
It can't make up
It's
his
like a
mind.
furry.
Mammal, duck.
It's
What
like a
is it?
furry otter with like a duck's bill and like little claws, and it's got a beaver's tail. And anyway, because it had all these weird things on it like that, they thought it was some like weird sort of evil scientist creation when they first saw it. They thought someone had like sewn a beaver's tail onto this animal and put a duck's bill on it and all this sort of shit.
That's really that. And when they first found it in Australia, well, I mean, they look crazy. They don't look like anything that should be put together.
Yeah,
There's such
and
an anomaly.
that's why I thought it was a joke. You know, somebody was trying to wind them up.
Well,
Who is Ned Kelly?
it's
Sorry, I'll
a
just answer this
it's a
first.
mammal
Who
that
is
lays
Ned Kelly?
eggs.
What was that?
It's a mammal that lays eggs. That's weird.
Yeah, I think it's one of the only mammals that does lay eggs, and
Yeah,
that
it's
is
like
pretty crazy.
one of like two or three, I think.
I was just saying to my girlfriend yesterday that wouldn't it be great if humans just laid eggs? Because you wouldn't have to all that shit through childbirth, like ripping the vagina open and all that crap. 12 hours of labor. I said,
Well,
just lay a little egg and sit on it for a couple of weeks. That'd be brilliant.
oh man, you got to be really safe with that egg though. Like,
Yeah.
I think you'd be just constantly hovering over it. I'd almost want it to have it be on my person
Yeah.
just for
It's
safekeeping.
funny how
But I
humans are
wouldn't want
so
to go
great.
through labor. Fuck that.
Humans are so great, but like, aren't our newborns the most pathetic things in the world?
Oh, they are compared to other species. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, is there any species that has a more pathetic newborn offspring than us?
No, the only ones that get close are chimps, but we do that because our heads are so damn big, like we almost break the women coming out, and
Yeah.
it's because we have one and we care for it, which differentiates us from like other mammals that will have a bunch of offspring just in the hopes that they survive or one of them survives. But it's
Yeah.
what I've heard from evolution is that we're the type of species that has one offspring, and it takes like so much for them to develop into the later stages in life that
Mm.
that's how like we go about it. We give more attention to like one thing where like a cat will just have 12 and then just hope that one of them makes it.
Yeah, and you know what? Neither way is better than the other. It just depends on the environment that creature was, living through.
Yeah, they both
Because,
work.
with fish and stuff, they have to have hundreds of eggs because there's so many predators in the ocean. They're not all going to survive. We were lucky enough that we evolved in an area where it was possible to look after a baby and feed it and be safe with just one baby.
Right. And a lot of their development, we're one of the species that the development lasts longest outside the womb. So a lot of animals you see in the safari and stuff, they get popped out, they're already running, because it's a necessity as far as living out on the
Yeah.
safari to be able to run right away. But
Yeah,
with
I've heard that a 2-day-old gazelle can run as fast as a racehorse.
damn,
2 days old, man, they're just sprinting off.
well you got
Well,
to
because
get
they
away
have
from
to.
you got to get away
You
from
got those
those.
bloody cheetahs.
Yeah, those fuckers are fast.
Damn
But
straight.
if you look at smart, so like smarter animals in the animal kingdom will have less offspring. If you look at whales and dolphins, they have less offspring. But
Yeah.
it's just a product of evolution. It's kind of crazy like that. So it's weird when someone has like triplets or quadruplets, and a lot of
Octomum. You
right.
guys had that Octomum lady, didn't
Oh
you?
yeah, and then she went into porn.
Did she? Oh yeah, that's right. I heard
Yeah,
about
I don't think anybody wanted to watch that porn.
that. She would have needed like a horse cock to please that pussy.
Exactly. So I don't think anybody was up to the challenge. So I think our adventures in porn failed. But yeah, anymore we have all these offspring, like triplets and stuff because of in vitro or um, how we actually make women. Will like put an egg in them and then fertilize it if they don't have
Yeah.
like eggs and stuff. And this actually lends itself more towards triplets and um, quadruplets and stuff like that. So if you actually are going
Oh,
in,
does it?
yeah. So if you're actually going in to get in vitro, I think it's called, then they say you have like, I think it's almost like a 50% chance of having twins or something. It's
Oh
crazy.
wow.
Yeah, it's
I wonder why that is.
it's the artificial um, of the egg. How we do it artificially. For some reason, it makes it to where triplets are more. You're more prone to have like I don't know why, but it just happens. Bruce, quick.
I always thought, um, yeah, like most twins and triplets were because multiple eggs were released into the uterus.
Well, right. So it'll like in the initial process of the egg being
Oh,
fertilized, there's an initial like
yeah.
splitting process, and it happens more often when we artificially inseminate a woman.
Yeah, and that's why there's conjoined twins because that's just them separating but not completely separating.
Yeah, the whole thing's messed up, man. I don't understand it.
I don't understand DNA. I mean,
Yeah,
it's in the sperm and the egg, and it's like nothing. It's tiny,
it's
and
God's
it
code,
knows
man.
it. Yeah, it's God's code. Yeah, of course.
No,
I should have known that. Oh,
DNA.
I should answer this question. Well, who is Ned Kelly? He is the most Australian Aussie bloke ever, apparently. He was like around in 1800s, I think, or 1900s. I'm not sure.
What?
No, I think
What do you do?
there was trains and guns and shit. He was an outlaw. He was
Oh, cool.
like he was robbing banks and
Oh, cool.
shooting up cops and all that sort of shit.
Yeah, like
And
our
he's
Sundance
famous.
kid. Or...
He's really famous because he used to wear this like armor. He used to wear like a chest plate of like steel, and then he used to have like a big helmet. It just looked like a dustbin lid over his head, and with a slit through the eyes, kind of like a burqa. Why don't you get it up on the screen so they can see what he looks like? Just
Yeah,
type in Ned Kelly into
I,
Google.
I got it here. He's got a big beard, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's
Murder,
real Aussie.
murder police, $2,500 reward. Is that? Oh yeah, I see him with the bag. Oh, that looks scary. Why don't they make a movie about him? I
I'm
bet
not
they
sure if they
have.
have.
I bet
I
they
bet
have.
they have.
Cause that he looks like that would be a cool like get up for a movie. Yeah, it looks like they have
I,
2 hours
I
from
can't see it on the screen yet.
2003.
Have you switched it over? I think it's just lagging behind.
Yeah, the stream's behind like 30 seconds, I think.
Oh, right.
But yeah, they had one in 2003. It got 56 on Metacritic, 56 on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 6.5 on IMDb.
So average.
Yeah, well, I usually consider if it's like that in that realm, I'll watch it because, um, I don't give, especially lately with critics on Rotten Tomato, so much of it is the SJW shit.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Like if you go look at some of these movies, they don't deserve the rating that they get, or some of the movies that they give a horrible rating because it will deal with subjects they don't like. And if you go look at a lot of these, I think they're called like certified critics or reviewers on Rotten Tomatoes. You go look at a lot of these people. Like if you just follow the trail, like back to Twitter for a lot of these people, you can see some of the stuff they post, and it's just like, yeah, I can see why you would think that.
Yeah, I'll pretty much watch any movie without even checking the ratings. If
Yeah,
I think it look if I think the storyline sounds alright, I'll watch it because I don't give a crap what other people think. I'll make up my own mind.
true that. I usually will give it like if it's terrible, terrible, I won't watch it. But like I said, if it's somewhere around there, and plus I have movies that I want to watch that I know are come. Usually I have an idea of what I want to see, anyways. Just because I follow,
Hey,
directors and stuff.
has it got how Ned Kelly died in there?
Mm,
Because that's pretty interesting.
no, but he capital punishment. The government killed him.
Yeah. Oh, they didn't tell you about the story before that. He had like a massive shootout with the cops.
Let
It's
me.
pretty cool. Yeah,
Oh, armor.
his helmet looks pretty cool. It's like some sort of robot helmet.
In the Victorian government approved a royal commission into the conduct of Victoria Police during the Kelly outbreak over the next 6 months, and the commission, chaired by Francis Longmore, held 66 meetings, examined 62 witnesses, and visited towns throughout Kelly country. Kelly, he had his areas that he used to go and cause havoc.
Yeah, apparently. I think it was down in New South Wales. Or maybe
Yeah,
it was Victoria. What state did it say?
Melbourne.
Yeah, yeah, that's Victoria.
Yeah, but let me get to the death section. Apparently, he had a trial. Oh, well, I
Yeah,
guess if he, I
I
guess if he
think they
was
capped him.
killed him, then
I think they capped him in the leg or something, and then they brought him in.
so,
But my
so he didn't
history on
just
him is not
shoot
that
him dead.
knowledgeable.
They always wanted to get him to the noose. Is like it was one thing like just something that I've like I don't know, but that I've seen kind of in westerns and stuff that don't cheat the nooseman or the hangman's job. He's got a job too. So make sure you get back the convicts to the actual hanging.
He needs to make a profit.
Yeah. Murder
Yeah,
of him
A lot
shit.
of Australians are really obsessed with Ned Kelly. Like they just think he's some sort of like legend.
Well, it's weird. Like we,
Uh,
we get obsessed with these figures, these vigilante figures.
yeah, I think it's because people realize there is like a hierarchy in this country or in any country really, and they're sick of it. They're sick of all the laws that don't make sense, and they're sick of how the government reacts and don't give a shit about them. And so these like people that go against the government, they become sort of like infamous in the
Mm.
eyes of the ordinary man.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be for the correct reasons. People just like the
No,
idea of revolt.
yeah, Ned Kelly wasn't even a good guy. He was an asshole.
We have Jesse James. He wasn't a good guy. All these like Western characters were like outlaws, and yeah, we still we glorify them in westerns and everything.
It's weird, isn't it?
It is weird, but I guess it's good. It's good storytelling as long as you
Yeah,
don't, like make a movie where it's like, well, this is. I like movies that always tell the downside of kind of being like that. So it won't just
yeah,
show like, okay, he robbed and it was great. Obviously, he was executed, right? So it came to an end. So
yeah.
there's a whole story to tell there, you know?
That's kind of why I hate a lot of war movies, especially American-made ones,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just like all this like patriotic bullshit about like how great and good Americans are, and it's just none of the reality of war. Like
Right.
they try to put in some gross stuff and be like, "Oh yeah, that's what war was like." But have you noticed in these American war movies that like the Nazis or the Russians or whatever whoever they're fighting, they're always like completely dehumanized.
Yeah.
Like they're just evil, like animal-like creatures. And the Americans are coming in to save the day.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially uh, before the Vietnam War, every single war movie was about patriotism and heroism. But we started to get, I think it was with around deer hunting or something like that, or the deer killer or something like that, where we actually started to tell stories of the downsides of war. But you're right, still a lot of them, especially a Mel Gibson movie or anything like that, is going to be just patriotism through and through, and it's you get to enjoy the bloodshed. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the one with the new one where it had the Spider-Man guy in it, the Gottfried guy, and it was a Mel Gibson movie where the guy ran in and he never used a gun. I forget.
Oh,
Ridge,
Hacksaw
yeah,
Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge, yeah. So this
Yeah,
movie, I don't like agree with the premise at all because he's a Christian guy who's, I mean, I don't mind it if that's the story, but he's a Christian guy who's inspired by his faith to run in and save all these people, but he doesn't use a gun. And
yeah.
the violence in this movie, like if you've ever seen Passion of the Christ, it's like that's the type of violence you're getting in this, a Mel Gibson movie. And
I've seen it.
there's
Yeah.
one spot where he holds up the guy and like he runs forward and it's just his torso. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
love that part. But yeah, that movie doesn't really show. It's just all this is awesome what's happening right here. But
Yeah.
there's definitely other movies like
And it annoys me, like a lot of war movies, or most of them, they don't get into the politics of it or like be unbiased about both sides and what they're fighting for.
right, yeah.
It's always just like America bringing freedom or America trying to save people or whatever. There's never like there's no nuance in them.
Or even with the terrorist movies that we do, or really any time the government is involved in any of our movies, it's going to be like portrayed, at least in like war or overseas stuff. A lot of it is going to be glorifying the U.S. But there is definitely a lot of movies out there like Full Metal Jacket is a great one that kind of points towards the Vietnam War.
I just watched that the other day. That was good.
Yeah, crazy good movie. So yeah, there's ones like that, but they're few and far in between. They actually tell the real tragedy of war.
The military industrial complex must hate that movie, hey?
Yeah, yeah. Well, frick. I mean, just the stuff in Vietnam that was crazy that happened. I mean, some of the stuff we did as the industrial complex is absolutely horrendous. But then on the other hand, you'll have people saying, "Well, tear it down, get rid of it."
Yeah.
It's like we need it for foreign invasion.
Yeah, I mean every country until we have a more peaceful society, which may not ever happen. Every country needs the ability and the right to defend itself. But
But
I think
some people don't even think that.
America's probably overstretching it a little bit with like their 400 bases or whatever they've got around the world.
Yeah, I would just
Spend,
like to know what.
spending so much fucking money on your military when there's so much shit at home you need to do.
Well, and then Trump came in and just upped it a ton.
Yeah, well, which president hasn't? Has there been any president that you know that actually spent less on the military?
No. Well, as far as like actually making it a part of their campaigning, no, not at all. No one comes and says we're gonna cut military spending. Just doesn't.
Yeah, because the Americans love that stuff.
They do. Well, a big portion of us do, yeah.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as far as the culture and stuff here, I don't. It's just it's. I don't feel in line with the culture a lot of the times, especially the way, just like the. It's just not nuanced at all. I just don't. Nationalism isn't nuanced.
Yeah, that's because you're an evil atheist, though. So you wouldn't know what you're talking about.
That's true. I'm a damn heathen.
See, when you're a Christian, there is no nuance. Everything is just so simple.
Yeah, it's all laid out for you.
Yep, good and bad. It's so easy.
If only. Wish I had a fucking game plan like that. Bruce, quit that.
Oh, did Heath Ledger play Ned Kelly, did he?
No. Did
Yeah,
he?
he was good.
Did he
Oh,
really?
that's what Hoth said. That's what Hoth said.
What? That's gotta be good. I gotta see this then. Yeah, there he is. Crazy. Who's that guy? Oh, Orlando Bloom. He fell way off.
Oh, I was just reading Jordan Peterson's Twitter,
Oh, were you?
and he's like, "This is so good." And it was like a little link to humanprogress.org, and it says globally the average income has risen from $9,443 in 1990 to $17,196 in 2017.
How much is the
And it's
difference?
like 9,500 to 17,000.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean,
And
17,000 is
like
still poverty.
it's fine to say like, yeah, we might be getting better, but it's also very misleading in the fact that a lot of that average would have been sent right up to the 1%, and that's what's not being said there.
Yeah, the guy who has 10 billion at the top is going to bring the
Yeah, he's
average of all
yeah.
those poor people up. So
What is it
it's
like
not even
six?
really
What is it like
saying.
6 people or 12 people or some crap have half the world's wealth
Yeah,
or something?
doesn't he know that correlation doesn't mean causation? Meaning like it could be that there's just richer people and that brings the medium up,
Yeah,
the median. Yeah, so he doesn't give a shit though because it's something that is points towards his bias opinion.
yeah. Why didn't he use the median income as in the person right in the middle? Because I bet you that didn't change that much.
Yeah,
I bet you it changed fuck all.
they probably just kind of just went around, it leveled off, right, around the same thing. And also,
Yeah.
17,000 is well, if you look at 17,000 in the U.S. as far as income, it's fucking horrible. You might be able to take 17,000 and move to Africa and be rich. I don't know, but I hate this idea too that they say, oh, the poor in America compared to the poor everywhere else are really well off,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, they sure are when you look in comparison to someone living in abject poverty where they literally are starving. Yeah, sure, they have it better, but where are standards? God damn it! Like, where? Hey, if you're better off than a starving kid in Africa, what do you got to complain about?
Yeah.
Like, I got a lot
Yeah.
to fucking complain about. They're rich
Yeah,
people.
there's always that's kind of where feminists go too, but there's always someone worse than you somewhere in the world, worse off than you. So that's a stupid like shut up unless you're the suffering the worst in the world. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Well, right. It also doesn't make any sense to compare the wealth of one nation to the wealth of another like that. To say that
Yeah.
um, poor people shouldn't complain in America because the poor people in America are richer than the poor people in Africa. It's like, well, what I care more about is the disparity of wealth in America. So, like, why is it that it seems to accumulate, and it's the biggest the gap has ever been. I mean, think some CEOs make like 400 times that of the bottom employer, and
Yeah, but once again, you're just jealous.
yeah, yeah,
So
right. And again, there has never been a rich liberal, by the way. That thing's never existed because they would just be jealous of the other person's money, right?
Yeah.
It's funny, yeah. They do play those games of Jordan's really big on it too, and the way he says it is so like he's so like mad about it. He goes, yeah, maybe you care about inequality, or maybe you're just jealous.
Yeah.
It's like fucking a man, Jordan. I think I'm maybe both a little, but damn.
Yeah, it's just so frustrating because it's not like we care about other people being rich. I don't give a fucking shit. It's the fact that like, how do these people become so rich while everybody else stays poor?
Right,
It's
and
it's called exploitation. It's exploiting somewhere,
mhm.
no matter which way you look at it. They're either exploiting their workers or exploiting people overseas. They're exploiting someone in some way, and they're getting all the money for it when they're not doing all the work. That's what people are annoyed about. It's not jealousy.
Yeah, but some people don't see. I've even heard it said that wealth disparity doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. So they'll even grant that there's this huge disparity in the U.S., but then they'll just fall on, well, they earned all of that and it's theirs. And
Well, they have to, don't they? Because the data's there. They have to fucking grant it.
what do you mean?
Well, they have to accept the fact that there is a huge wealth
Oh, right,
disparity, and yeah,
exactly.
they have to because like there's proof now. I mean, everybody knows.
Yeah, but they'll just say that it's not an intrinsically bad that there's a wealth disparity, and they'll just kind of put it on wealthy people actually just working harder, being just actually doing something. They'll just say it's laziness, right? But it is. There's no way when you make it to this big of a company, at a certain point you don't work anymore. You just accumulate
Yeah,
money. Like let's say, when did Bill
you're
Gates?
telling other people what to do.
Yeah, Bill Gates stopped working in the 90s. Like, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't he's not out there putting like working every day. He's just accumulating from a system that he has created. Now,
Yeah,
how are we going to let that system, which is created where apparently it's the work that we care about, and if it was the work that we care about, then you think these people that care so much about people working for their money would care about these people who just collect incomes off the back of a system that's already well established. And also, one thing I don't understand is why don't we ever look at billionaires and the ones who don't give to charity? I mean, I would say these are probably some of the most evil people on earth. Like
yeah.
if you were to have this much money and then there's some people that'll bite the bullet and just be like, well, it's theirs. They don't have to give any of it away. I'm just like, Jesus.
At what point do you say it's still their right to have all that money to get all the income that's coming from their company? Like if now even if they're not doing anything towards the company, they're still getting all the profits from it. At what point do you say this isn't you didn't earn this anymore? Yeah, you did at the start, you did the graft, you did the hard work, you deserve that money, but I mean, when you're still getting $50 million a year just because you're sitting in a CEO desk,
Mm-hmm.
at what point do they still deserve it?
Some people principally come down on they'll allow others to die. So, like you'll have people libertarians that say even like with healthcare, how we're forcing doctors to give healthcare. They'll be like, how are you going to force my wife? I think this is a uh,
Oh yeah,
how
who
are you
said that? Who was
Paul
saying that?
something, but you're gonna force my wife to give you health care. That's like
Ben
it's like
Shapiro, that's who
stealing,
was saying
or
that.
it's like slavery. Basically, you're forcing someone into labor, and it's like, well,
Yeah,
at what point does that person having so much money force other people into predicaments as well,
yeah,
as far as their livelihood first off, and some people will just say if they don't work for it, or if they don't have the money, then they must not have worked for it. Then they should just die.
yep.
And that is that
I
is
live
a
in
complete libertarian stance.
I live in a country with public healthcare, and it's free to go to the hospital whenever you got anything wrong with you. And I tell you one thing, none of the doctors are walking around in shackles. They're getting paid.
Right.
They don't feel like slaves. They actually volunteered to work at that hospital.
Exactly. It's part of their profession, and it's like it's pretending like other people's professions aren't forced to do anything if you pick that profession. If you are a cop, then you are forced to go to that house when you are called. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
you're gonna force my husband to come to your house like a slave when you call?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, because your fucking job. But they just don't see it that way. It's always, um, I just hate how America is so, they care more about race than they do class, and it's like we're all in the same
Yeah.
boat here. If we could just get on the same page, we could probably get some shit done.
Yeah. And that's the thing, these libertarian types and, Ben Shapiro or Peterson fans or whatever, they're all working class people. Well, the majority of them are anyway. And they've been duped by these people to think like, I'm gonna be a millionaire one day,
Oh
you
right,
know?
yeah, that too, and the tax bracket or their income will not even fall into the class that they're arguing for. It's like in the hopes that they become rich one day. I want to keep all of it. It's what is the
Yeah.
I don't understand
Selfish mentality.
this idea. If you're a billionaire, and they're arguing against, let's say, billionaires get taxed at 50%. Some reason there's poor people out there arguing against this. Even if they were to be billionaires at one point and be taxed half, they would still have billions of dollars.
Yeah, what is the problem with taxing them more? Well, trickle down economics and all that, they'll always say.
I don't know. I'm down for taxing the uber rich a lot more personally. I think some of the I mean fucking Bill Gates alone could pay for all our children's education.
Yeah, but that would be stealing from him.
Yeah, that's right. What's up, Kappa? How you doing?
I love those ANCAP types that are like, oh, the state's putting a gun to my head to get my taxes.
Right. Yeah, they don't
Oh.
and they don't understand that their arguments fall apart at the seams.
And that they've benefited from tons of public businesses and corporations and stuff.
Or the fact
I
that
mean, they've benefited from all that.
yeah, and some of the corporations will file bankruptcy and then come into your wallet and take it. Like Trump filed bankruptcy 6 times and used the taxpayers' dollars to become rich again. And then they go
Yeah,
back. They go
wasn't
back
that the whole
defending
global
him.
financial crisis problem? I mean, isn't that what the banks did? They were
Yeah.
going to go bankrupt, and they're
The
like,
bailouts.
"Oh,
Yeah.
hey, can all the people just like pay us heaps of money so we don't?"
Too big to fail. Yeah, I never understood that. It's like if your business fails, it fails. Why
Yeah,
do we need
fuck
more
you.
car
You
companies?
should have fucking been put in jail.
Right. Oh, and
They
then
can get you can
Trump
get away with
anniversary.
anything if you've got enough money, though. You can get away with anything.
Oh, just look at the legal system. People will steal right from your wallet. It's just like walking into your house and stealing, but it's white collar crime, so it's not punished. Bruce,
Hey, stop,
Bruce is
Kappa.
attacking me. Stop, Bruce. Stop attacking me. Speak, Bruce. Speak. That's like he knows a lot of tricks, but he still will not speak for me. Speak, Bruce. Oh, and I do have another channel. I have a channel called the Boxer Dog Bruce.
Oh, do you? I'll have a look. I'll have a look now.
That's
Boxing.
that's the one that hopefully me and my dog get famous off of.
Yeah, well, some of those cat and dog videos get fucking millions of views, so you never know.
That's what I'm saying, man. I'm gonna make this dog a star.
Oh, let's see. I'm already subscribed. There you go.
Ah, thanks, man.
Get him, Bruce.
And then Hectic Skeptic. That's another one.
Yeah, drool all over him.
So funny, he has these scars right on his face from barbed wire because there's these dogs next to the house that he'll run and just smash his face into the barbed wire. I'm
Dogs
like,
can be so dumb sometimes.
oh yeah, but he's still cute.
Oh, hear that? Bruce will always be more famous than you, Cogent.
I hope so. He'll be the famous one, and then I'll be the one in the background.
Well, he's the one doing all the talking.
Yeah, Bruce is.
Yeah. Hey, Kappa, you got any questions while you're around?
Yeah, ask the hey Kappa, where were you from? Where's your accent in Australia from?
Yeah, are you one of those Melbourne cunts?
Yeah, what are you, those Melbourne cunts? I was more English.
Oh, he is from Victoria. Whereabouts?
He's from
Melbourne?
Victoria, eh? Melbourne, Melbourne. Melbourne.
Sort of. So what are you in like one of the outer suburbs or something?
He's in one of the just really bogan towns.
Yeah, he's probably in some bogan part.
He's a straight bogan. I'm calling like Kappa a redneck, aren't I?
Yeah, well,
I don't
that's what
mean it,
bogans
Cap.
are,
I don't mean it,
rednecks.
Kappa. You're well educated, sophisticated man.
Yeah, in a bogan town,
In a bogan
2 hours
town.
outside of Melbourne.
Oh, did you know of Ned Kelly, the infamous outlaw?
Of course he knows about it. Every Australian does.
Oh, okay. I just thought I'd let him know.
See,
Say
he
it's bogan
confirmed
country.
bogan country.
Oh no. So that's where his deep accent
Oh,
comes from. Do an American accent, Alien Nation, he asked. Just go, what up, bro? What up, dude?
I don't know if I can do that.
I just try when I do
How
when I.
y'all doing today, everybody?
Hey, that's
So
not a
good.
bad Southern one.
Yeah, I'm good at
I
the Southern.
I liked it. You do like a Boston. Yeah, I'm from Boston.
What? How do Boston people sound?
You go down by the docks. Yeah, I'm from Boston, eh? Something like
Yeah,
that.
I'm from Boston. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, I like it. When I try to do an Australian, I just think of Deadpool talking like Wolverine. I'll say, it's nice. Put some nice shrimps on the bobby there for you, eh? Or what does he say? He's like, fuck. Have you guys seen Deadpool?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. Do you see how he does the accent
Yeah,
of
I can't remember
Wolverine?
what he says though.
Yeah. See, if I heard him say it, I might be able to do it. And I swear, sometimes I practice by myself. I'm like, that's perfect. And then I try to do it, and it's just like, ain't happening. Oh, hi, Brucey Brew. That's more Canadian, yeah. Yeah, eh? I guess the guy's
Well,
the
just
A in
try
there.
just try to say something like, "Oh, hey, how are you, mate?"
Hey, how are you, mate? Hey,
Yeah, that's not bad.
I'm from Australia, eh, mate? It's,
Hey, I do a better Boston accent than Cogent.
hey, nice, man. Well, you got yourself a new gig. You could do voice
Yeah, I could
acting.
probably only do it for one sentence and then I'll slip.
Yeah, you got to know the whole,
They are
all the
fucking
crappy
shrimps,
lingo.
not prawns. Kappa, I can't agree with you more, mate. They are fucking prawns.
Who calls them shrimps?
They are fucking shrimps, not prawns.
Well, who
Who
calls
the
them
fuck?
prawns?
No, no, Kappa. Do you call them shrimps?
Shrimps.
Shrimps
Oh,
on the barbie?
shrimps on the barbie.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, mate. You ever gone down under? Give it a nice little tickle. Yeah, a nice little crocodile will bite you in your dungarees.
That's so bad. I'll see you in the RV. That's what we always say. I'll
I,
see you this RV.
I see in the savi. What is that?
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Okay, you just got to give me something to say. I can't make it up on my own.
Yes, Hoth Australians do say reckon a lot. We do.
You say fixin'. It's almost like you guys are redneck.
Fix them. What's that?
Fixin'. You fixin' to do this? Or fixin' to do that?
Nah, we don't say
It's a
that.
southern thing. What about pop?
Ah.
Soda?
Nah, we call it soft drink.
Soft drink. What do you? That's like shit. You.
Yeah, I know it's funny because it's like, what the hell's a hard drink?
Oh yeah, hard drink. Well, no, but that's just like what it's called, like on the vending machines, like soft drink.
Isn't that
Uh,
what you call? What do you call it? Soda? Uh,
uh,
I,
that's a
I'll
southern
grab.
thing.
I'll grab a soda,
A
thanks.
soda pop. Uh, I call it from where I am. I call it pop. And then
Pop.
people
Just pop.
pop, yeah, and then people because soda pop, and then people down south will call it soda pop or soda.
And you guys call jam jelly, don't you?
I call it jelly. Yeah.
Oh, that's so weird. So what do you call jelly?
Jam. No, what do you mean? It's the same fucking thing.
No, I mean, jelly, the sweet,
Oh,
the dessert that's like jiggly.
oh, Jello.
Jello. Oh, you call it
You
jello.
call it jelly?
Yeah, we call it jelly.
What the like a
So that's
jellyfish?
why, like, when I was a kid and I heard like Americans put like peanut butter and jelly on their fucking sandwiches, I was like, what the fuck?
Peanut butter. So you thought they're peanut butter and Jello?
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah,
fucking
that's what I thought.
horrible.
Yeah.
Do Australians say calm your farm. Calm your farm.
No, that's probably like really old Australians might say something like that.
Give me
We don't.
one more Australian thing to say.
Oh shit! Now you're putting me on the spot.
Just
Um,
I want to repeat it.
what do we say? Oh, you're having a laugh, mate.
Oh, you having a laugh, mate?
Yeah, that's pretty good. You got the whole accent going there. That's good.
Yeah, I just gotta hear it. If I don't hear it, then I'm like I'm searching in the dark for something, you know?
Yeah, well, we hear so many Americans on telly
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of us do know how to do the accent, or at least people that try accents.
Well, your damn actors are so good at it. I can't. It's like foreign actors are so good at American accents compared to I think Americans being good at other accents.
Yeah, Kappa, who the fuck says fair dinkum anymore? That is such an antiquated Aussie saying. Fair dinkum, mate. Yeah, maybe like Alf from Home and Away. It's just like Home and Away is like this soap opera, kind of like Your Bold and the Beautiful or whatever you've got over there.
Uh, yeah. Oh
And
yeah. Yeah.
he's like the old Aussie guy, and he always says stuff like, "Oh, stone the flaming crows," shit like that.
What the fuck does that mean?
I
Stone the
don't even know
flaming
what that means.
crows.
It
Uh,
it just means like, oh my god, sort of thing. I think that's what it means.
yeah. I mean, if I saw flaming crows, I would want to stone them. Like someone grab a rock and throw it at those flaming crows.
Oh, Hoss said that he says soda and not pop, so you're weird, Cogent,
I guess,
apparently.
man. I just say pop, and I drank so much of it when I was younger. Mountain
Aren't you
Dew.
from the Aren't you from the Northwest? Didn't you say you were Northwest?
Yeah, I'm Washington State.
Yeah, he's Northwest as well, and he says soda.
I don't know. That's weird. He's not.
Maybe
Don't
maybe
trust
it's
him.
like
He's
as
an
soon as you
imposter.
cross as soon as you cross the border, as soon as you cross the border, people are like asking for pop, and they're like, "What?
Yeah, right. What
What
do
do
you?
you mean by that pop? We only got soda here."
Oh my God, I love that one that you just did. We only got soda pop here. Uh, no, you just got it like a nice Southern. Like yeah. I'm from Arkansas. You got a nice Southern draw on it.
Yeah,
That's how.
we we say we say soda in Oregon.
We say soda in Oregon. Um, but yeah, that's weird. I think I live right next to the state line, and so yeah, right when you cross over into Idaho, you say pop, and they're like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah, you fucking redneck.
You don't say
Past the
ketchup.
dead, past the dead horse. We don't say ketchup. Yeah, that's right. Nobody says past the dead horse. We say like
Tomato sauce.
the old saying, uh, that's about as useful as flogging a dead horse,
Oh yeah,
which is
like
a saying that everybody uses.
we got beat a dead horse.
Yeah, beat a dead horse, flogging a dead horse, whatever.
Flogging.
Um,
I love how you use flogging. It's like
yeah,
very specific.
flogging's an Australian thing.
Is it? I think it's also a
Well, I
religious
know
thing.
flogging is a word that, yeah, obviously, but a lot of people do use flogging. But anyway, we don't say ketchup. You're right. We use tomato sauce. Do you guys always say ketchup? Do you ever use tomato sauce?
No, because tomato sauce is something completely different.
What's that like? What you put with pasta?
Yeah, like it'd be like spaghetti sauce or like
Why don't you call it spaghetti sauce then instead of tomato sauce?
well we do. It's just tomato sauce would be it would be like explaining what these things are. I don't think I've ever like tomato sauce wouldn't really be I guess it would be on a can, but it would be like tomato soup. So we have tomato soup, tomato sauce would be ketchup. Yeah. So I don't know.
We say tap. Huh?
Tap.
Tap.
Like tap water?
What,
Oh,
instead of
tap.
like the water?
Tap.
Tap? Like a in the sink?
Yeah, tap
You
water.
you guys use tap as well, don't you?
For tap
Like turn the
water.
tap on. Turn
Yeah,
the
yeah.
tap on.
Mm-hmm. You know what I like a lot more than there's a couple like there's a few words that I like better than the English version. Like I like telly better than I like television. Um, there's lots I like bloody hell. I like that one. Bollocks. Yeah, that's a good one. Um,
Don't you guys use telly, or is that an Aussie thing?
no, if you said telly up here, people would look at you weird.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
We shorten everything.
Yeah,
Like I
well
said before,
that's
like
what I'm
we
saying.
call
It's like
we call the
everything's
afternoon the arvo or the RV.
Oh,
We don't
baby.
say nobody says good afternoon, sir.
Well, yeah. Well, we'll shorten things up too. Like, good afternoon. What would be that? After we'll say afternoon. Like
What?
afternoon. We'll say afternoon. Like afternoon.
Like
Like
if you were
as a
saying
greeting. Like
as a
a
greeting.
yeah.
Uh
And also we have ebonics too, which is like
I guess if you're
more
in a
black.
professional environment, they would probably say good afternoon or something.
Yeah. That's so funny though. The difference is like, yeah, and then we have ebonics, which is uh, black culture, like like more slang, like yo, what up, that type of stuff is considered like slang, where the other stuff is like, yeah, it's just funny.
Real English.
Yeah, well, no, I mean ebonics is like it's a knockoff version of English, which I don't understand why they even did that, but
I just thought all slang was part of English. It's just slang. Why do they have to give it a name?
well, ebonics was actually taught to black people like earlier on as a shorthand
Oh,
for English.
really?
Uh huh.
Huh.
Which and then
Is that
this
because they were? Is that because back then they were illiterate?
well part of the reason yeah is because they shortened it so they could understand English better, but it still persists to this day. Like ebonics is still taught in college, which I don't understand.
Really? Wow. That's like bogan fucking language being taught in college.
Yeah, and there's also this thing that black community talks about. It's called code switching, where like you'll talk black, and I'm not just being racist here. People have said this shit, all right, but people will talk black and then they'll code switch to talking more grammatically correct in if they're going in for like a job interview or something. It's called
I'm not surprised.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
called code switching. So I don't
But
get
people
it.
do that everywhere. Like I'll be talking to people
Oh
like
yeah, yeah,
just
for sure,
in a social setting, and then you talk to them in a business setting, and they're completely different.
for
You know?
sure. Oh yeah, absolutely. So I guess
Yeah,
it'd be kind
we
of like
don't.
that, but it's just a tad bit. I guess it'd be just a. I don't know. I read an article on it. It was interesting, but yeah, everyone
Yeah,
does that. They
we
kind
don't
of have
usually
their
use.
formal way of speaking and then their informal way of speaking. Although it doesn't.
Yeah.
The only way that changes for me is if I cuss. So like, it doesn't change really. I guess I'll say like more slang, but basically I talk the same except I'll dial it back for the cussing. But that's really
Yeah.
about it.
I don't dial back my cussing very much, but when my kids are around, I like turn on my kid mode in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually don't swear or anything like that.
Well, I have to
But
learn
every
not to
now and
swear
then a
now.
swear word slips out, and I'm like, and I try to cover it up by saying something else. Yeah,
Does it work well?
Kappa's. Um, I think my kids are
They're
pretty
just
grown up in that way. Like they understand that I say it sometimes, and they understand that they shouldn't say it,
it's a
you know,
grown up
yet.
word.
And you know what? I let them swear sometimes. If it's in context and if it was funny or something like that, I'll let them get away with it. You know, because
Well,
I'm teaching them that swearing's not like evil and wrong.
yeah, they're
It's just
words.
you got to use it right. You got to use it in the right way.
Exactly. Like I would just say like don't curse around your teachers.
Yeah, that's what
Don't
I
curse
say.
around me. Don't curse around your mother. But yeah, and I think
Yeah,
people treat cursing as way too big of a deal.
yeah. Like if a spider scares my son or whatever, and he says like, "Oh shit," or whatever,
Get the
I'm
soap.
like, "That's fine." I'm like, "That's fine." But if he like looks at me angrily and says, "Fuck you, dad," that's not fine.
No, definitely not. Big difference.
We don't always say you're welcome. If you say thank you, I might just say mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that Americans in general or just Hoth being an asshole?
No, I mean that's yeah. If someone goes, "You're welcome," you're just like, uh, "Don't think about it," or "No problem," or "Mm-hmm." I mean, yeah, a lot of it will just be
Yeah.
guttural.
You know,
Yeah,
we usually say no probs or no problem.
yeah, no problem, man, no probs.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not too big on the whole like please, thank you, and you're welcome about everything.
Yeah.
You know, it shouldn't have to be like forced politeness.
Well, yeah, that too. I mean, the whole like thank you, you're well. That stuff is just almost just a part of my vocabulary. The funny thing is that I'll say those things, but then be like rude during the conversation.
Yeah.
and then just be like nice during the greetings and the goodbyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just because those are like
Uh,
more instinctual, and then like the meat of my shit is like, yeah, that
yeah,
makes sense.
you're swearing like a swearing like a trooper and insulting people, and then you're like, okay, thanks, see you
Yeah,
later.
have a pleasant day. Yeah.
Yeah, Kappa just pointed out a good point. We do usually say no worries. I do use that one a lot too.
I use that one a lot. Yeah, I've
No
been,
worries.
I've been using like I wish I want to incorporate mate into my vocabulary, but I know it sounds weird coming from an American. And there's been so many.
So
There's
no
been.
Americans use it?
I know that I hear. I mean, if they do, then they're like, "Why are you saying mate?" Um,
All right.
but yeah, there's so many like good usages of words that I find more pleasant to my ears. Like I just love mate, like it because it's like pal or like
Yeah.
bud. But I don't like saying like, "Hey, what up, bud?" You know, I'll say
You're
that
not my
sometimes.
pal, buddy.
Yeah,
You're not my buddy, guy.
yeah, yeah. So like mate just seems more like a better way of saying it.
What do you guys use?
I'll be like I'll say pal or buddy or like
Really? Pal and
if I'm
buddy
trying to,
seem kind of,
well, to me
yeah, I don't
too.
like them.
But if you're trying to like get across the friend along with that, it's like it would be pal or something like that. I think.
Bro.
Bro,
See,
yeah, bro.
yeah. Do you
Bro.
guys use bro much?
Yeah, bro's a big one.
Yeah. See, I've always refrained from using bro too much because there's a bit of a culture over here where, like, I don't know if you know this, but New Zealanders, they often come here to live,
Mm-hmm.
and in their culture they use bro a lot. Like, oh hey bro, what you doing, man?
Yeah, it's
You
like
know, like they
bro
like that sort
culture.
of thing. Yeah, and like a lot of white people here have sort of adapted that, like trying to be. It's kind of like how white people in America try to like act black,
Right. Yeah.
and that's what I feel like it's like here.
Mm-hmm.
Like these white guys are trying to act all like black and hip, and they're like, "What's up, bro? Yeah, man."
But yeah,
Like, you know?
yeah, bro is turned into like a stoner usage just as much as like a black person would use it now.
Yeah.
Like
No, that's true.
it almost a black person version of it would be more brother.
Yeah, well,
Or
yeah, nobody uses brother.
brother. No, well, black people use brother.
Well, not over here. But yeah.
Yeah, in America, that'd be slang. What up, brother? But bro, yeah, bro's more like what up, bro. That's more
Yeah.
stoner. Yeah, bro. It's called like bro culture. Yeah, man. But yeah, I mean, no, it's funny because I will also consciously remove words from my vocabulary. Like I don't like saying sick. That's sick. Or
Yeah.
there's certain
I'm the
ones that
same. I'm the
I've
same.
removed from that they were popular in about the 90s or 2000s that I've completely eradicated from my vocabulary.
Yeah, that was bodacious, man.
Bodacious. No.
Yeah.
It's crazy
Nah,
too. Is there's a couple of
I typically, sorry, I typically hate like slang and stuff because I feel like it's people just trying hard.
mm-hmm.
Like I try to just speak English and like I'll use mate and stuff like that, but I hate it when like these trends come along and everybody starts being like, "Oh, that's totally sick." Oh yeah, let's
Yeah,
just chill, man.
yeah.
You know, like these
And
new words come along and they just everybody adapts them.
well, you can tell that some people like purposefully try to adopt new slang, where
Yeah,
with me it's just whatever it happens to end up in it. And
yeah,
I grew up kind of like West Coast hip hop, like really big into like rap and stuff like that. So I've had to over the years like purposefully try to remove the hip hop talk because you'll be considered a wigger, like a
yeah.
black like a white rapper type of thing. But it's for me like yo what up, it's very natural, but it doesn't well
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with what up.
no, it's just that it's I guess not how I would present myself usually. It comes more like as a natural, like more like around friends, but I would never be like, "Yo, what up?" in other circumstances, I guess. But I guess that's kind of
Yeah,
like code switching what we were talking about.
I guess you guys have to be a lot more careful over there, with what you say.
Well, just
You know, like
recently
the
I
whole
used to.
wigger thing and racist stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's definitely different with the race relations up here.
I remember when I was in high school, we still do have a bit of a race thing here because we don't have many black kids. We've got a couple, you know, like in our school anyway. There wasn't
Tokens.
many.
Yeah.
Yeah, tokens, exactly like South Park.
Yeah.
And I was in a classroom with my mates, and it was sort of like this was probably about 2000 or somewhere around there, and sort of like hip hop was pretty big at the time. Like everybody was into that, and so we were using the N word a lot
Hmm.
back then, just like mucking around and stuff, just between each other.
Right.
And I was in class one time, and these guys were being total assholes to us because we were a bit nerdy back then. Probably still am, but anyway. Um, and yeah, they were being assholes to us, so I just like said, "Oh, shut the fuck up, nigger," to
Hmm.
them. And after class, they fucking got me outside, and one of the white kids, it wasn't even the black kid that apparently got offended by it, but one of the white kids started laying into me, like fucking punching me and all this shit. And I was trying to defend myself, and then like I thought I'd cooled it down. Like I didn't want to fight. I was just like, fuck that shit. And anyway, I started walking away, and this kid ran up behind me and punched me in the back of the head.
Hmm.
And that's when this teacher came running over, being like, "Oi, what the hell are you guys doing?" And that was the end of that fight, anyway. But like after that, I had to be a lot more careful with the words I used.
Well, it's crazy. You know, in the U.S., the word's so toxic that if let's say a white guy uses it to a black guy, you will have white people that are pretty much completely okay with the black guy just kicking the shit out of the white guy at that point. So like, it's become so toxic that the word it's more powerful than the word. It is like people will immediately take it beyond language a lot of the times if you do that. Let's say in public. Just now, like they'll catch people saying the N word in their spare time, you know, and this will be broadcast to the nation as racism. It's
Oh
like
shit,
it's like
man.
damn, someone using the N word in the privacy of their own home is now being equivocated with just downright white supremacy. It's like what the
Wait, this
fuck?
was yeah, this was recorded, so I'm in hot water now because I said it.
Oh no, it's
They're gonna hunt me down, man.
nigga. That's it's fine. Um, it's but that's the thing. It's like it becomes this huge thing like over here. If you can find someone saying it, oh you got him. It's like but the
I've
thing
always
is
just I
it's
don't I
used in
don't
all
get
my
it.
favorite rap music.
Yeah, and what are you supposed to do? Just like stay silent for a second during the song?
Well, dude, there was an
And
actual
then keep
rapper.
racking.
There was an actual rapper who called a white girl up on stage at one of his concerts, and then during that part, she said it, and then she got booed off stage. It was like, the fuck? Why'd you bring the poor white girl up on stage to say the word just to kick her off?
Oh, fucking hell. Since when
Or Paula Dean got her
aren't
career
I always
destroyed
thought
over it.
actions were supposed to be more important than words?
They're not anymore.
Like I can say anything to my mate, like anything horrible, and he doesn't care because it's
Mhm.
the actions that matter. Like words don't mean shit.
Well, I mean, I mean, that's exactly right. But I think you can purposefully use that word in a way that is just like antagonistic. And I just think
Yeah,
at a
but
at a
that sort of is an action in on its own, isn't it?
well,
Because you're
well,
trying to
no,
bully someone or you're
you're
trying to like antagonize someone.
you're
That's an
exactly right.
action in my
Yeah,
mind.
no, you're exactly right. That's I didn't even think of it like that. That is an action. You're taking the word and you're weaponizing it instead of using the word in a context that it was said that was okay. And the thing is that the black community has taken the word as a sign of like endearment. They say it to each other all the time, and then but as soon as it crosses barriers, it becomes this huge cultural thing, and it becomes national news. Like the one fat Southern lady got her entire career was ruined because she said the N word. And what is it? Papa John's just recently got freaking raked over the coals for saying it in an exercise, and it's crazy. They think if you say it in private, you mean all the negative things behind it as well, even though it's used in a setting all the time where it doesn't mean all those negative things.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
how the fuck are we supposed to? It's okay. So basically, it's okay for one group of people, but not okay for another group of people. How do people think you're gonna live in a nation like that and not have there constantly be problems? And it's so
Yeah,
weird.
and what if you're like in between? There's not just like black people and white
Exactly,
people.
exactly.
There's like every shade of color imaginable.
Or a white guy who grew up with black parents, or a, let's say, like a white mom who has a black kid. These, but
Yeah,
they
how do you put that in rules? How do you draw the lines?
that's the thing. Usually, the people who speak loudest have no interaction with actual race. Like they have no experience with a black friend. They have no experience um, in these types of situations, or where maybe their family is mixed or something like that. So they have no experience with it. So they can speak from a complete place of ignorance, saying, "I would never treat someone like that." Well, maybe if they were your best friend and they were black, you would. You know, like, and I mean that's at least my upbringing. My best friend growing up was black, so it's like a lot of the things that I experienced, I would be considered racist for just hanging out with my friend. You know what I mean? So it's weird. Like situations
Did you
gotten
ever
really
did
weird.
you ever use the word around him?
Yeah, I did. When I was younger, I used it, and then like in one time I used it like back to back to back because he was getting mad at it, and then he punched me really hard in my arm, and then he just explained it to me. He's like I don't like it, and that was fine. Then I didn't use it after that.
Yeah,
And
that's what should happen in everyday life. I mean, if you're around someone and you say it and they say they don't like it, then don't use it anymore.
right, but
I mean,
we shouldn't seek to ruin people's careers. And obviously,
yeah.
I wouldn't be someone who best friend is black who is racist, obviously. But you can't even say that anymore. You can't say no. Growing up, my best friend was black. But like, it doesn't mean anything.
No, you could still be racist. I've seen those videos. You can still be racist even if you have a black friend.
Yeah,
Um, Racism is hating a race. Why would you be friends with someone who you hated?
exactly. And then like he introduced me a lot to, like he introduced me to Tupac. Like a lot of like my appreciation for rap culture came from him. So just growing up with him, right? So it's like the people who do experience like both sides of it are they have like, and then they're told by others, like let's just say someone could have a black dad and they're white or something, or a black son and they're white, and they will be called racist for expressing opinions.
Yeah.
The whole thing's crazy to me, man.
You all suffer from internal racism.
So does
Ah,
everybody.
fuck, you got me.
Well, the thing they'll talk about it like black people are the only one with biases. It's the whole things they say about that every race has an affinity for their own race. Like that's true about everybody. So it's not just white people. It's like black people on tests will score like picking black people more, while white people will pick white people more. It's just
And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
right, but they make it. They're even coming after us for our fucking unbiased or unconscious behavior.
Yeah.
What are we supposed to do
But
about that?
as long as you're not fucking hating or beating up or like ridiculing people of a different race just because they color their skin, it doesn't fucking matter who you hang out with.
Yeah, but yeah. I wish sometimes I'd be able to see like America from an outsider perspective, or maybe race relations in Australia, kind of like Kappa was saying. Like there's still some type
Yeah,
of,
there is. Oh yeah.
but it seems
I
it seems
didn't mean to
different.
belittle it before,
No, no,
Kappa,
that's
by the
not.
way.
And it's
I
but it's
know there is racial tensions around Australia, but I'm just saying in the school I was in, I mean, there was barely any black people. I mean, I live in a like 99% predominantly white area, so that's kind of what it's like here.
but like the even the situation seems different though, just because the history isn't there. Um,
Yeah, there is some horrible history here, to
like
be honest, about the
indigenous though, right?
Aboriginals. Yeah,
Yeah,
the Aboriginals here, you know, they were slaughtered in the same similar way to like your Native Americans, I guess,
yeah, but
but
we
maybe
have
on a
Native
slightly
Americans and the
yeah,
slavery
you
stuff.
got that's right. We didn't have that slavery stuff, or at least not that I know. But there might have been some slaves. I'm not sure.
Well, there were slaves
But
everywhere. I mean, there's still slavery happening in the Muslim world right now.
well, yeah, that's true.
I mean, the people talk about the transatlantic slave trade. Talk about the trans uh, Arabic, or the trans the other slave trade is even bigger. The ones where they take black people out of Africa and they make them Muslim slaves. That happens too. But and that's still happening to this day. And
I actually read an article that said that there are more slaves today than like 50 years ago or some shit like that.
no, it's actually true. Yeah, there's more slaves in the world today than at the height of slavery, and that's
That's
mainly
crazy, isn't it?
yeah, it's mainly because our population has exploded. So,
Well, yeah, but still,
but
and
you think there would be
it is a
no
pretty amazing.
slavery?
Yeah, most of the slaves in early Australia history were convicts. Yeah, that's true, and they could have been any race back then. I mean, our country was founded basically by convicts. They built a lot of the first settlements used as slave labor.
So, like the founders of Australia were.
Well, no, I mean, there's Captain Cook and all the other, rich English people that wanted to
No,
come here.
no, I remember
Mostly
it was.
Irish, as Kappa pointed out.
Well, wasn't it
But yeah,
the Aboriginals were the first ones to come there from like New Zealand, right, or something like that, or like
I'm
some.
not sure where they originally came from, but they've been here for like 40,000 years or something. So a long
I
time.
don't think that
And
long,
and
but
yeah,
maybe.
they were here way, way, way before us. And then yeah, the English discovered Australia, and they brought all their convicts here because I think they were running out of room in their jails back in England.
It's in the middle of nowhere, so
Yeah,
it's almost
yeah.
it's like one of
Oh,
those you could like pay like on pay-per-view, put a bunch of serial killer convicts, and the last one to survive gets out of jail. They should do something like that.
they did a movie about that, didn't they?
Yeah, they got a couple. They're pretty good.
Kappa just said 40,000 years they came from Asia. So maybe he's
Yeah,
just copying me, but maybe he's right. It is 40,000
I
years.
swear I had just looked up something about the Aboriginals in. Is Aboriginal like a slur? Should I be saying that? I think it is. I
No,
think it is considered
if you
nowadays.
say, I think maybe you're supposed to say indigenous peoples.
Indigenous. That's right. And you
But
can't say Oriental anymore
you
either.
definitely don't say abos because that's bad.
Okay, so yeah, Abos. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's that's who I was. The Aborigines. That's who I was looking up, and I think it was something about because I was like, who came there first? How long? Oh, I was like, how long after the Aboriginals showed up did the English show up? And it really wasn't that long. It's from what I remember,
What
but
did it say?
it like not 40,000 years, but I could be dead wrong here. I probably am.
I'm gonna look it up just because I'm curious now.
Those are some fast fingers.
There we go. I found. Hang on. Yeah. It says
Yeah, 1788 was the date of the first
six.
fleet.
It says 60,000 years. The first thing that came up said that.
What is how long the indigenous have been there?
Yeah,
Okay.
60,000
Oh, okay,
years.
so I think I was looking up just yeah when the first ships of the colonization actually ended up there, and that wasn't that long ago. That was like
1788, Kappa just told us,
right
was the
17.
date of the first fleet. Um, and there's actually a town called 1788, which is a weird name for a town, but it was named after that.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I live in 1788. Oh, what is that, like a number to your house? No, that's the town name.
So are you a freaking time traveling in
Yeah.
1788?
Yeah, exactly. January 26th. God, Kappa, you're either Googling that shit or you know your history, because I don't know that stuff. Of course it's January 26th, because that's Australia Day. Fucking dumbass.
But Alien, I think I'm gonna pop off here and play some video games or something.
Yeah, man, no worries.
But hey,
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna.
enjoyed the talk a lot. That was fun.
Yeah, that was good. We'll have to do it again, eh?
Yeah, definitely, mate.
We'll get Kappa on next time.
Yes, we will. It'll be a an Australian fest.